have to put the Genshin Impact Wish sound on the soundboard for that.
Alrighty. Okay. Can you?
Perfect name for the character.
All right. Okay. Can you guys just tell me, is everything up and running?
Everything is up and running.
Checking the stream. It looks like we are.
Yeah. Like I had to.
Yeah, we're running.
Okay. I had to create a whole new thing. Alrighty. So yeah. So sorry about that, everybody. Apparently, the winter is being a bitch, and it took out Brian, aka Dave. It took out his internet. So
Sorry.
yeah, so nothing we can do about that. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to try to not only stream this, but also DM everything at the same time. I hope to God my laptop can handle it.
It's a good thing we said we weren't going to do as much as before.
Hello again, mortals.
All right.
Anyways, fucking Kiram.
Alrighty, yeah. So
apparently I've been dubbed as the Kiram of this. Okay.
we've decided to blame Jen for this. But yeah, so sorry about that. So okay, so picking up where we last left off. So I believe Luke, you were talking about like let's handle Dovin Bond, and we'll go from there.
If he starts fucking with me directly, I don't need to wait for the Azorius, you know.
Oh, in my head, he signed away his rights to survival as soon as he showed up and made a show of it. He could have just come and collected the last of his doctors and left, but he decided he would make it a show. And that just tells me he's here to cause problems.
Pacifico kind of laughs a little bit. And it's like, he tried to tell me that the Demir could have been the ones who were putting out there was a traitor.
That sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What are the Demir?
So I told him I just go ask Lazav.
What are the Demir?
It's one of the guilds.
The leader of the Demir.
No. What are the Demir?
Oh. They are the guild that are basically spies. They also technically don't exist, depending on who you ask.
All right.
But I told him I'd ask the leader of the Demir personally. I don't fucking know Lazav. I'm pretty sure he bought it. Well,
Canvas drops concentration on slow and just returns to normal. Her ticking has actually slowed down with the slow, and she retracts the blade. It takes a moment though because it's stuck in the table. Wrenches it out, fixes it a little bit. I didn't know seeing him would make me react like that.
Oh gosh.
From what I saw of him, he didn't even notice.
I was there for a little bit, by the way.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I could hear the ticking in the background.
Yeah.
I was also there, but I was more there for Canvas's sake.
Initially, I was too. Or rather...
Wait! You two were there?
All of us were. But... But MM made sure that Dovin could not see them while we could see him. And
Pacifico puts his hands on the table firmly, stands up, and he's like, I specifically went on my own so that you two wouldn't go.
Making that clear would have been nice.
You mean you came here without telling anyone? Luke just looks at Pacifico. You didn't tell them.
They saw me leave. I just walked out the door. I told... Canvas tried to tell me to wait. I said no.
And like a concerned friend, I followed curiously. And then, well, I saw him, freaked out, and eventually, thanks to Amy, she talked me into leaving.
Yeah, and
I
you
probably
two
would've
already
done
knew
something
that Dovin Bond was here. I would think that you'd realize maybe if I was going out with that information, there was a reason for it. That probably would involve you two not doing so.
No offense to Alice, or Amy. I see you two, and she points at Luke and Pacifico. I see you two as the ones who actually do protecting here. That one blows things up, and that one can heal people. That's kind of an after the situation thing. I didn't feel safe anymore. So I went because I was able to take control of that. Sitting here and waiting is... She kind of just freezes for a second. It's not doable. Inaction is... Ugh. You need to understand that I see you two as the most protective and, well, not necessarily the most powerful in keeping people safe in this group. And so when you walked out that door, after we'd said, he's coming, barricade the doors, close everything up, I'll send Kaidam to go check, there was obviously the idea of the only other thing protecting us running out the door.
Though I disagree on power, I can at least agree on one thing. We don't exactly have the same defenses. If if Dovin did something and caught us off guard, not having either of you two certainly wouldn't have helped. Especially since, if I'm not mistaken, you two are perhaps some of the more alert people in this school.
Tsukuko kind of looks away, feeling a bit ashamed of himself because she's probably right. But he looks towards her. Lately, I've been reminded about how frequently... Lately, I've been reminded about how, frequently, it's more so, when I'm in the dangerous situation and someone else isn't, that I'm good at protecting people. And you being here while I'm where Dovin is, that does that.
I also didn't just connect the dots there. I didn't realize.
think
I
so.
could have at the very least said his name as I was heading out. That would have communicated something about it. I kind of got tunnel vision.
That said, I'm surprised at you. She looks across to Alice. You surprise me almost every time you come out nowadays.
I know we've had more than enough wrong foots to have started with, but I am still quite bitter about the thopter his thopter on my horn. At least I can say for you lot, you were at least trying to protect something. There's something there. Now, it might just be my opinion. There is nothing that makes me want to side with him, especially not after that stunt. So I'm willing to put my differences of view aside if it means taking him down.
We do it within the extent of the law if we can. If we can't,
Pacifico
I mean-
nods. It's like, let him be the one to breach the law first.
Exactly.
Amy, could you roll a perception check?
Sure. Give me a second. Dirty 20.
All right, so.
All right,
Yeah, what does Amy see?
she catches it. She catches him again, looking away, kind of ashamed of himself, and she sees him mouthing a familiar little set of words, "Il principe feroce." I'm gonna try to get some sleep.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
Alice,
I don't think I am either, but I'm still going to try.
I'm going to watch the door.
Alice stops Pacifico before he leaves and offers her hand. Let's shake on it.
Pacifico nods a little bit and shakes her hand.
As they're shaking, it goes back to regular MM. And because of earlier, like, it was basically he was crying the last time Alice was out.
Yeah, she almost always has a traumatic response to having Alice around.
Here,
So Alice did that on purpose to stem the traumatic response.
except this time around, MM's not crying or anything. However, she does continue to shake. Well, that's the first time she was willing to do that. That's the first time it felt mutual.
I don't like the guy either, given that he's apparently after me for my powers.
Imagine just he's such a piece of work that Alice was just willing to offer it back just so like it felt like I've never
What?
felt like that sense of earnesty out of her, except when she was trying to boast herself up. So I don't know, I think she actually does not like him.
None of us like him. Just saying.
Can't blame her.
He's a prick.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm going to try and get some sleep because I got a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some sleep too.
All of you should.
If you actually end up feeling tired enough to, you should as well. I know it's not likely, but still.
If I feel like I'm getting tired, I'll go to bed. But this is going to keep me up for a few nights. There's work to be done.
As just bring up tomorrow, should we try and recruit more people to the I need to remember the name, to the embassy?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you still gotta talk to the people that you initially want to invite.
Mhm.
Yep.
Tomorrow
That's
we
where
bring.
Especially now that we know that Dovin's more of an active threat.
We take him to the headquarters tomorrow. Everyone we want to try and bring in, if they accept, take them there. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Alright. Go get some sleep.
All right. So you guys are just gonna go straight to bed.
Amy, will talk to Rabina and she will give her the ring.
Okay. Let me actually let me bring up the camera real quick. Oh yeah, this is so weird. It's like, yeah, going between multiple windows. It's like, oh, what fun. Okay. Alrighty, so Rubina, she'll come and she'll see you walk in and you're just looking just completely shaken. And that's where she's just like, Amy? Amy, what happened?
Something from the past came up. I won't go into detail right now, but, yeah. She's just exhausted. But she hands Rabina the ring.
Oh. It's like, oh. It's like, oh, thank you, but what is this?
An invitation to something very secretive, and it's something me and my friends are doing, and we believe that you have the skill to help us with this thing.
It's like, oh well, thank you. I mean, I am very much honored.
She just plops down on the bed.
All right. It's like, yeah. She's like, all right. Yeah. It's like I see you're tired. You know, we'll talk. We can talk more tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Things cannot get any worse.
All right. Alrighty. So yeah, Naomi, you just kind of drift off to sleep. So yeah, Pacifico. I take it. You said you're just going straight to bed.
He probably does end up like trying to, and then eventually he's like, "Fuck it, I'm awake." He's going to knock on Grayson and Caddy's door.
Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, Kadoris will open the door and he'll just go. He's like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey, still a little bit, kind of down a bit, but sort of picking himself up as he starts. Grayson here too. I actually need to talk to both of you.
Yeah, and with that, Grayson is sitting at his desk. Yeah, he overhears that and he just kind of gets up and just turns to you. He's like, what, water? What is it?
He starts kind of explaining the stuff about the, I believe it was Chromatic Embassy was the name?
Convergent Embassy.
The
Convergent Embassy, yeah. It was Converge, not Chroma, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
I think that was one of the options, but...
Yeah. The Convergent Embassy. He's like, so if you guys, I trust you guys, even if you don't want to be in on it, to keep it a secret. But if you do, these will let you in. He has the 2 rings.
Alrighty. Grayson, he just... Yeah, he'll take his ring, and he'll just say, he's like... Yeah, just kind of nods in understanding. Meanwhile, Kadoris will take his, and he's just like, ooh, a secret society.
A reminder, each ring is custom made for the person that it is given to.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that the
Concerningly,
ring for
it fits them
Grayson plays...
perfectly.
So I'd imagine that the ring for Grayson plays into their connection in terms of white mana, whereas the ring for
It's
Caddy...
actually styled after the silver medals and the blue outfit that he wears.
Ah, okay, yeah.
It's designed to look like it matches what they would normally wear.
Right.
So it's for people who know what it is, we know it's there. But for people who don't really recognize that it's a symbol of anything, they'll just overlook it as part of the outfit.
Sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Both of them may... I'm not sure if both of them noticed that Pacifico looks particularly tired, worn out.
I would probably say, if anything, Grayson might. Because Grayson's kind of got the sharp eye.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he'll just see that and he's like, yeah, just straight to bed with you.
Yes, Dad.
Yeah. It's alright. Kind of as he turns around, a little bit of a smile creeps on his lips. He's like, wait, why am I smiling at that? He's just right. He's just telling me shit I already know, as usual. Fucking...
Alrighty. Okay, and then Canvas and Luke. Yeah, because MM, I think, if I recall, MM, you wanted to send the invite to Kiha, who's not on campus. So it's like, yeah, you don't really get any kind of a special scene here. But yeah, so I guess Luke and Canvas, do you guys want to go to your prospective people real quick, or just go straight to bed?
Canvas kind of turns to Luke. So what are we doing tomorrow? My mind's...
We're meeting up at the base camp in the Sedgemoor, bringing everyone who accepts their ring.
Yeah.
laying down what happened today and the plans for the future.
You okay with Kaidam keeping you company?
Yeah, the more constructs down here, the better. Can you get him to listen to what I say?
Yeah. Kaidam, you hear that? And Kaidam kind of nods. The teeth are like the teeth, because they're still a fractal, are very much like perfect triangles. And they kind of nod, and he looks back to Luke. You know, this is a lot. I'm hoping Kaidam can keep you some good company while you stay up thinking. Good luck. Let's hope it's not too peaceful.
Well, if it's peaceful, that's a good thing.
Not the type of peace I was talking about. And as she walks away, once she's out of sight from Luke, she kind of twists her hand and the ether kind of shifts in her hand, and Kaidam starts very quietly playing a tune inside its body like a xylophone. Just little wind chimes fill the air with some noise.
Alright.
Just to try and the thing there is to try and soothe Luke's distaste of pure nothing.
Okay.
She's
Try to
taught
temper the fear of
Kaidam to play
silence that he
music.
has.
Yeah, she's taught Kaidam to play music using their like glass-like body to tap on itself to play like a xylophone tune. And yeah, she walks up to the room, slowly opens. She takes a deep breath before opening the door, and then opens the door and walks in.
Alright. And then, yep, Tialana sees you. Yeah, Tialana just sees you walk in, and she's just like, she could just tell, like, yeah, you're not doing well. And she's like,
Yeah, Canvas like walks straight over to her at the chair, and before she can even get up, she kind of just slumps onto her and is hugging her for a second.
yeah, I was like, are you okay? I mean, you're just drained.
Yeah, I'll be alright.
Are you sure?
She kind of pulls away from the hug for a second and walks around them, going to sit on the edge of the bed. Dovin was here. I did not expect to have that much of a reaction.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, and so she's just like, it's like, Dovin, you mean the man that Pacifico had written about?
Right, you don't know. I'm sure I'll tell you at some point. But
Well, what was he doing?
more
Well, what was he doing here?
collecting the last of his stuff, I
Ah,
imagine.
I see.
Testing us. He is after me and Amy and likely Luke, and for that reason also Pacifico and and by extension, because you're anything to do with me, you, Cadorus, and she just starts rattling off more and more names, kind of sitting there going through them like a Rolodex.
Yeah, and like, she'll just come over and, she'll just, put her hands on yours and just be, and just, say, it's just, we don't know all of that. I mean, I understand there's a lot of what ifs, but we can't, just try not to focus on those what ifs. You'll lose your mind.
Now, Canvas didn't explain it to her, but she did pass her a ring already. Is she already wearing the ring?
Yes, she is.
Canvas kind of like, turns her hands upwards and runs her hand, like runs her thumb over the finger with the ring. Yeah. I should explain what this ring actually means. Before you keep wearing it.
Okay.
This is a invite of sorts to a group. It's a few of us that are getting together to try and coordinate as students for the protection and safety of this place. We're trying to protect each other. Some of us are planeswalkers, obviously, but some of us aren't. And I believe the invitation is going out to a few other like-minded individuals. It's an invite to join us with the, I believe we're calling ourselves the Convergent Embassy. It's meant to blend in with your clothes, but to the rest of us, we know what it means.
I see. Of course I'll help you any way I can. I promised I would.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
On a brighter note, or just looking forward, I guess, we're meeting up in Sedgemoor tomorrow in the swamp. I'll show you the way. You might have seen it, the shack that we went past. We're fixing that up and using that as a base of operations, so that people who can't planeswalk have a place to go.
I see. All right. All right. Well, we can go that. We can go there together.
Yeah. For now, I think I'm gonna try and get some sleep.
Yeah, you do that, and yep, and then yeah, like probably like as you go and tuck yourself in, she'll give you maybe like a little kiss on the forehead.
Cute. And then yeah, they fall asleep. They probably have a nightmare or two, but nothing night terror level.
Oh boy.
All right. Alrighty, so then in that case, that leaves Luke. Is there? Did you want to go to Chevauderie?
No, Luke is going to be pretty much focused on the door for the entire night.
Okay.
Just watching to see if anyone comes in or goes. He's going to be... He's going to be up for a while.
You know what? We'll say it's been a trance, because you could just
I don't
trance.
think it has been that long.
Well, we could say it's been. Well, we could say eventually it'll be 4 hours since, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we could say like.
So this is
sometime
probably
passes.
towards the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh wait, unless you want to do something. Unless Luke and Amy want to do, not Luke.
Here's the thing. I think it'd be interesting if their interaction, if what's written here is happening with the others still being there as well and being able to interact with it / hear everything that's going on.
All right, so MM's just gonna come down after a little bit to hang out with Luke.
Alrighty, let me find where you are. Okay, there you go.
You did. Yeah, I went down.
So I think there's actually some setup we need to do with Pacifico in terms of doing that.
Sure. Yeah, let me,
So at some point during the night, Pacifico just cannot sleep.
Okay, yeah, let's pause the music real quick. Okay. Alright,
So at some point during the night... Sorry. So at some point during the night, Pacifico just cannot sleep at all. So he ends up coming out of his room, but when MM and Luke see him, he's got a bunch of paperwork in his hand. Excuse me. He just goes over to one of the tables. He sets the paperwork down, and he starts doing a bunch of paperwork. And there's a lot of writing going on, lots of things happening, and there's an indication that something was going pretty wrong for him mentally, if he wasn't even confining his burning the candle on both ends to his desk anymore.
Are you good up there, mate?
He does not seem to hear Luke. Amy, you can actually do your part of the beginning at any time. I felt like, given the way we structured it, Pacifico needed to...
Yeah, I getcha. So, Amy is laying in bed. She's trying to sleep, as she would have nightmares of Magaxor, of all people. She would see him burning canvas to death, choking Luke out till the life left his eyes, stabbing Pacifico in the chest, shoving MM into a pool of water with alligators ripping her apart, and seeing poor little Thistle being shot through the head. And then he would turn towards Amy, and she would hear that line again. They cannot protect you. No one can. As he would cast a spell, Amy would scream in her dream before waking up, shooting up from her bed in a cold sweat. Her eyes widened in fear and shock, getting out of bed, getting dressed, and going outside her dorm room. As she looked at her hands, they were trembling. Her normal well-kept hair was a mess, and her face was just covered in a cold sweat. That was way too real. Way too real. The young sorceress was just worried about a lot of things, but something weighed even more heavier on her mind. Pacifico, and that connection with that woman. What was Pacifico hiding? To be fair, it probably wasn't any of her business. And she would only ask Pacifico if he approached her first. Either way, she wasn't able to sleep. So, she would get a glass of water, head downstairs to the main dorm room area, and just to sit and think. But as well as something else, the power flowed through her body. Her eyes shined bright for a moment, looking at her hands. She could feel she could heal more. Despite everything, she was still on her quest to find the source of her power.
So when Amy comes down, she probably has to go past Luke and M. She probably sees Luke and Eminem looking towards one of the tables towards the back, and probably there. Is your token coming down?
Yeah, it's down. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, there it is. All right. And probably when you get there, you see Pacifico again, just seeming to not notice anybody with all this paperwork in front of him. But the lot of you probably noticed something else. His eyes were bloodshot. It could be confused with the semi-glow again, but not. He normally didn't have that when he was, again, burning the candle at both ends. Amy would be able to tell, though, that it wasn't just him being tired that was the reason that his eyes were bloodshot. She'd seen them that way when he was crying in his sleep before.
Yeah. She would indeed see him. Noticing his state, she knew something was wrong, very wrong. And despite wanting to keep her distance from him, recognizing the signs, he needed a friend, and she was there.
Along with also Luke and MM, they are in this scene now.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, but she was more concerned about him right now.
I mean, I was just gonna say, because like MM, all she needed to do was like be in a trance and be fine.
Mhm.
And Luke, maybe Luke needs somebody.
By the way,
I think
Dom is
what
continuing to play music.
Boone meant by the fact that we are here is that he has more friends here who can be here for him as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's not just Amy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Canvas.
Just more. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was like, Canvas, you were saying something real quick.
Oh no, I was just saying that Kaidam's continuing to play music, and I have posted what that music sounds like. You don't have to play it in the stream or anything. It's just for the people that are downstairs there. They can click on that and actually hear what Kaidam's kind of playing in the background.
Okay.
Right. So she sees Luke and the other. It's like, how long has he been at this?
3 minutes at this point. Didn't even hear me calling to him.
I know this. So she would approach Pacifico and would set down a cup of cold water for him. But as she set the cup down, her hand was trembling a little bit. Not from being yelled at Pacifico, but by the nightmare she had. Hey.
Pacifico, again, it just didn't register that other people were here at the moment. But then he heard the, like, glass of water get set down, and he kind of... everything was off. He looked back down at his work as he actually responded, hey. His voice, I know I didn't, like, act it properly, but his voice was also kind of hoarse and even a little shaky, like he was on the verge of breaking down again.
Well, it looks like all of us can't sleep now, huh? You want some help? I'm sure all 3 of us can help you.
Pacifico's pen kind of stopped for a moment as he was asked. He was just kind of staring at the page. He started flipping the pen in his hand. In a way, it was almost like Luke being fidgety. It was weird. And then he looked up towards them. It's like, I don't know how much any of you would really be able to help with this report. And when you're closer to him, he just looks even worse. It's like he hadn't slept in days, even though he actually looked kind of all right earlier. He finally set the pen down. I don't really need to pull an all-nighter to finish this.
So why are you trying?
I don't know. He kind of rubbed his eyes a little bit and then just looked. Look, I'm sorry, okay?
What are you apologizing for?
You're yelling at Amy, yelling at you, yelling at Canvas. I think the yelling at you earlier, Alice, either one. Shouldn't have done that.
You had a good reason to yell at me.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I can probably help with something. I mean, land properties, if anything. I mean, I'm going to be signing deeds when I graduate and take over the family farm business. Technically true. Look, Pacifico, it's okay. Something's clearly on your mind, and we're willing to listen. Just let it out.
Quick question: do we want Candace to come down and join, or is she gonna stay sleeping?
She's gonna stay up there for a bit. We'll let them finish the majority of this scene, and then Canvas is gonna do something.
Okay.
It's a little bit separate,
Okay.
but yeah.
He actually had kind of sort of started crying at this point. She said, I don't know if it'll make any sense. When I got angry with you, I know what was going through my head. I know what I almost said to you. What I almost did to you. He kind of looked away and buried his head into his elbow. And it's happened with most of this group. I think it happened the least with Thistle. I don't know what happened. The thoughts of that still come to me. He's right about me. Speaking of Magaxer, I'm still il principe feroce. No matter how much I try to pretend I'm not.
Yeah, but hurt me.
I could have.
Yeah, you could have, but you didn't. And I've been honestly a right piece of shit sometimes this year. And you still didn't hurt me.
Anger is an emotion most of us don't like. I don't like getting angry as it makes us say or do things we regret. Father, bless his soul, always told me that anger was natural for everyone, but but it's if we can let go of that anger that separates us from true monsters. And I know you're more than that, Pacifico. People can call you whatever you want, but a name isn't going to defy you who you are. As she would offer her hand to him. I don't care if you're this Principal Fettuccine. You're not that to me. You're Pacifico. Listen, I cannot say that word myself.
No, I get it. It's just fucking funny. I'm sorry. I am ruining this. Keep going.
I don't care if you're this Principal Fettuccine. You are not that to me. You're Pacifico Whitewater, Prince of East River, a guardian, and most importantly, you're my best friend.
Still kind of shaking and crying, and normally this kind of stuff would actually help. It's like, I don't have to mean to. I don't have to want to. The fact that I am is just all the more reason I need to leave you alone. And with all the wrong, and as much as like Luke was wrong for pushing so far, and Amy was wrong for pushing so far, Pacifico still seemed to just double back into blaming himself for even what they were doing wrong. You guys are my friends, and I don't want to lose that control. Not again. It can't happen again. He was kind of clutching the side of his head, still crying, and she'd seen him this panicked before. It was like he'd killed his brother all over again.
don't want to lose you too. Look, don't blame yourself. I did you wrong. I pushed it too far. That's on me, not you. That's why I kept my distance from you. Not until you were ready or you needed us like you do now. We all need each other right now. We need to watch each other's backs. That man, that thing, he's on a different level compared to the rest of us. And things are just going to get more dangerous. As she starts shaking a bit. I had a nightmare of that man killing all of you. And it felt too real. He was strangling Luke to death, burning Canvas alive, tossing Mimi into a pit of alligators.
MM.
Yeah.
You said Mimi.
Oh,
Hello?
me. Sorry, MM. My bad.
The damn it! It's the
This random tiefling.
It's the M's. It's the M's.
Okay. He tossed MM into a pit of alligators where they tore her to shreds. He shot Thistle in the head and he stabbed you in the chest. And then he looked at me and said, "They cannot protect you. No one can," and proceeded to kill me. As she would clench onto Pacifico tightly. I don't want that happening. I can't lose any of you. You're all my friends. You're... Okay. Because, look, I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to be there for you. Because I'm scared too. You have protected me so many times, and I'm scared of losing everyone because of my foolishness. You, Luke, Canvas, MM, even Thistle. I'm super worried about him. I will never push those boundaries again. As my dad says, we learn from our mistakes. You are all part of my family, regardless of what others feel. And then seeing him in panic mode, she would start taking in a deep breath. Breathe. Remember what I said to you when we first met? Relax your mind and just breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I know you can master your emotions, and I'll be there every step of the way.
Sifiko was still kind of hyperventilating, but like his arms were slack, not even able to bring himself to hug her back at the moment, but still managing to cry into her shoulder, fully sobbing at this point. More so than I am able to do so on command. I'm sorry, I'm not that good of an actor. Barely able to process her nightmare's description, still against her, and after several moments, able to steady his breathing enough to at least stop sobbing uncontrollably. He was still out of it a little bit, though. I'm trying to think about this logically. Trying to push back the idea that I deserve what he and Carla want to do to me. I'm trying and I'm failing to fight that. He was finally able to move his arms, kind of. I'm still going to be spending most of my time in the summer in Ixalan. I need to come back to this with a clearer head afterwards. Guys, there's more to this than you probably realize. You need kind of squeeze back. More that I'm not 100% certain whether I'm ready to talk about or not.
Luke, he takes the ring off of his finger and he just sort of places it on the table. Do you know what this means to me, Pacifico? The one that you're wearing. Amy, and Canvas that everyone you've selected is wearing?
Trust.
An unwavering trust. Yeah, even in Grayson, of all people. He just begins fiddling with the ring, turning it over in his hands. I can't justifiably say I know how you're feeling. Because I don't. I've never been through the shit that you have. All I can really say is I'm here. And even if you lose your shit and start beating the crap out of me, I'm still going to be here at the end of the day. Even if you lose control and put me to the brink of death, as soon as I'm back up, my first priority will be making sure that you're all right with yourself.
I think we're gonna have to improvise here, Amy. At this point, I apologize. We're gonna have to discard the rest of this and improv.
Improvisation.
Yeah.
Because this is a good point to do it, to do the thing. It's like, then I think all of you need to know why what you just said scares me so much.
All right.
DM, I think we need a specific music change.
That we do.
Hopefully it'll work.
Yeah.
Flashback time.
Yep, flashback time.
It's...
Okay, let's just... Alright, good, okay. Goody, okay. Good sign so far. Alright, let's, You got the,
Knocking on wood.
Yeah, you got the script open, Boone?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go on ahead and transition over. So, you may begin.
Is my token already in here in an appropriate place?
Nope. You go on ahead and put where you need to bring it.
Would make the most sense right over here. We don't have a baby Pacifico token, but we do have a Pacifico.
We don't.
Token.
We don't have a baby.
You could have used the chibi.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. Well, we don't have a baby Carla either.
Okay.
We don't have a baby Carla either. So it is what it is.
Oh man, at least the other babies are from something I can easily recognize.
It's like I needed proper babies. So yes, I just
The Iannucci Day.
I just grabbed people from Spy Family. So okay, go on.
The Iannucci Day Center within the Palazzo de Mare tended to be the school of choice for the young children of the Whitewater family over the years. It was actually not a fancy private daycare like you probably would expect. They would get more private education in later years, and the family felt it was important for the education to involve meeting with those who are outside of the nobility to ground them into the reality of the world around them. The school was quite nice, actually, with the royal family's affinity for this school in particular ensuring it was always kept in the best condition. In some ways, a prized jewel of the Whitewater family, even if one intended for the common folk primarily. But there was at least one of higher regality there at this time, during an outside playtime on a sun-filled day. He, however, was huddled up in the corner of the yard, looking out towards various other kids playing. Fewer, I think, in fact, no Tritons.
Okay.
But I was just going with what tokens you put out there.
Yeah.
But, well, that just made him feel all the more isolated. He always was a little bit isolated from others, more often with his nose in a book. Nobody seemed really sure how much of that was his curiosity falling within the pages of literature, historical text, and magical tomes, and how much of it was his paranoia about how careful he needed to be due to the potential consequences of his emotions going awry.
At another end of the schoolyard, a young girl mingled with her classmates. Since the prince's arrival, she's watched children try to befriend him. And one by one, in one way or another, they were turned away. When they talked, rumors were born, and the girl had heard them all. He doesn't want friends, he wants servants. Are you sure he's really the prince? He's nothing like his brother. I think he's spying for his family. He can have us taken away if he wants. Each murmur was becoming more outlandish than the last, and with some of the children from the lower class families becoming just even more brazen in their dislike of the prince. Così stupido, she mutters. Whenever she asked about them, her father would tell her how sometimes the royal family would make people sad or angry, and that it would be wrong to love them if they did that to you. But the prince never demanded anything, not even raising his voice, and he always stepped away from the group. There's no way he could be bad as the others were saying, right? She wanted to see for herself who he was. Even if he didn't want to befriend her, she could at least tell him what was going on with the others. She slowly walked to him.
The young prince would hear footsteps moving closer than usual. He was pretty sure the person was nice. That wasn't really the problem he had. He figured she was just drifting in this direction, looking for something, like some of the others sometimes did. But then the footsteps got a little bit closer, a little bit closer. It was slow, but the more she came towards him, the more deliberate that it seemed. He kind of cringed a little bit, feeling like he knew what she wanted. Some sort of beratement, judgment, asking for a favor, something along those lines. There was no way she was approaching them to actually befriend him, right?
When she reached him, she saw him flinch. Guess she caught him off guard. Quickly, she thought back to her father and how he would talk to a neighbor if they wanted to ask him a question. Granted, she would immediately be pulled away by her mother or an uncle so that they may speak privately, but she could see that he would always speak at their level. Sometimes, even when he's talking to an elder or a child, he would kneel to them. We don't look down on friends. Remember that, piccola signora, he would say. So maybe that would help. She lowers to her knees, her green eyes now level with his. Ciao! How are you?
The Triton Prince was, at the very least, surprised, even almost stunned that this girl was actually speaking to him. He blinked for a moment as he looked at her, confused? A little bit. He wound up responding. Buon pomeriggio. I probably pronounced that wrong.
That's okay.
But it seemed very normal for him to speak so formally. That's why I didn't know how to pronounce it. It's just super formal thing. Definitely not like the rest of his family. Sure, they had decorum, but they weren't as tense as he was. His head moved up, though. The fact that she was speaking to him at all was starting to let his guard down. I don't know. Fine, I guess. That was a bold-faced lie. Even if he wasn't really fully aware that it was. There was a deep-rooted misery to what he was saying. A resignation to loneliness. He did... Yeah. Friends are going to worry if you're over here for too long, you know. That was a weird way to put it. Why would they be worried? It's in the same playground as everybody else. Just off in a corner of it. Unless they thought they would be worried about her talking to him in particular.
Blinking at what he said, the girl began to look around. And sure enough, some of the children stopped playing their games and they're watching them. almost all of them from common families. And this was getting ridiculous. How could a big bad royal be so worried over stupid rumors like this? It's like, and she just kind of grunts and just goes, oh, look, all I've done is say hello. Nothing wrong with that.
The royal could feel people staring. He just kept his head down, hoping they'd stop staring. That wasn't happening. But he looked up at her, and his shoulders relaxed ever so slightly. I guess not. He kind of looked down again, a little bit away. They're probably waiting for me to do something bad. I've heard them talk. They're expecting it.
She noted the movement in his shoulders. That must have been when everyone else would do as he asked and walked away. But the little girl smirked. Clearly there was more to the prince. And she is Padre's stubborn little princess, as her mother likes to say. Well, let's find out. And dropping to her butt on the ground, she actually scoots closer to him. And then she says, well, if they're going to keep talking when nothing happens, then that just proves they're stupid.
The prince looked up slightly with her sitting down exactly where he'd wind up looking. Like she took his shame and timidness as an invitation instead. Resulted in another confused look on his face. He was just kind of staring at her, a little bit dumbfounded. His shoulders did relax more, and he would slowly uncurl a little bit. All right. I'm Pacifico. He didn't even want to say his last name, knowing that the reputation attached to it was something he already didn't feel he lived up to.
And she just holds out her hand to him. Nice to meet you, Pacifico. I'm Carla.
Pacifico would kind of just look at her hand for a moment, as though he'd never seen a handshake before, and then look towards her face again. A little bit more of a pause, and then he would reach out and shake her hand. Finally, getting a smile to form. Over the next few days, Pacifico was beginning to be able to do more than just sit in the corner. He and Carla talked, laughed. He had a friend. It was making him truly believe that perhaps he wasn't as awful as he thought he was. A week, a month, more passed. Of course, the war between the Sabatelli and the royal family of East River continued.
Okay.
Oh, this is the part where you kill the music.
Yeah, I already did.
Oh. Oh, the other one is still playing. That's what is my... Until it came home.
All right, let's transition over and feel free to place ye token.
I feel like there is a bit of an obvious opening here.
Never.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Actually, you know what? He would probably wind up in the back of the class where Carla is because he
okay.
thinks everybody else hates him.
All right. Okay. All right. You know what? Yeah, we'll have Carla and Pacifico sit next to each other. Cause why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So, anywho, it's a normal school day, and the teacher deep in their lecture, and then they turn their attention towards a group of disobedient students that just suddenly started talking loudly amongst themselves. I was like, hey, what is the meaning of this? And the students just continue to exclaim, you know, like, whoa, is that?
That an army?
No way. What could they be doing here?
Mama said there wouldn't be any fighting here.
And one by one, each of them rise from their seats and flock towards the windows. Let me actually... I'm not doing this individually. This will just take all fucking day.
Yeah, fair.
All right, so we'll just move it. We'll just move everybody over. Okay. All right, Hades. Yeah. So Carla, she'll too rise to her seat, but you know, sticking with staying by Pacifico's side. Something's going on out there. You know anything about it?
Pacifico did look towards the window, and he got up. He was a little reluctant going too close to the window. Those kids had given him a hard time a lot, but he definitely wasn't going to a window when he heard mention of an army. He could damn near feel people staring at him when the army was brought up, even though they kind of weren't. And sure enough, Carla would ask the question that was probably on many of their minds. No, I mean, I know about the war, of course, but he shook his head and then he looked towards the window again. Again, reluctant to get close, but able to see outside of it, able to see the soldiers in formation, clearly prepared to defend against an assault. He knew the drills well enough to have this look of panic in his eyes. He'd wind up looking back towards Carla. They're attacking. They have to be attacking the city directly.
Okay. It's like, Nanchimodo, Carla whispers to herself, and then immediately thinking, why would Padre attack here? I'm here! Her father had promised her that no harm would ever come to her, you know, that the war would be so far. So, why? You know, if she could get to her father, surely he would have an answer, maybe even reconsider. And as the teacher, you know, rushed to calm the students, Carla, she'll actually turn to the young Triton. Pacifico, there has to be something we can do.
He was kind of in a stunned silence himself. You could almost hear someone in the crowd of Panic's kids blaming him directly for this. But he was a kid. He wasn't the general at all. His older brother was in charge of that. All he could do was look out the window to figure out what could be happening. What they could do. He got snapped out of it by Carla, though. And he looked towards her. He did kind of cringe a little bit. Like, what? Carla, we're kids. He wasn't sure why the attack was happening either. Although he could say a little. There's something I can say. We didn't have intelligence that this was happening this morning. At least nothing was mentioned to me, which that just has me worried my family is just as caught off guard about this as anyone else.
This was not good at all. A surprise attack. This was going to be a slaughter, and they were going to be in the thick of it. You know, Carla, she had to get to her father. The sooner, the better. Now, all she had to do was find a way to slip past those royal soldiers. Turning to Pacifico, she asks, well, surely the soldiers know you're here too. You know, talk to them. Figure out what's going on. If an attack is coming, maybe some of them can protect the school. I mean, you're really good at talking when you put your mind to it.
Pacifico looked to her, and he kind of winced a little bit, looking outside again, kind of nervous to be doing any of this. They should already know that I'm here, Carla. Leaving the school would probably just put us in more danger. They they're already forming a defensive line outside. Admittedly, he did not fully believe her about how good at talking he really was.
Right. And then, okay, the door to the room opens, and the school's administrator would step in. And he goes, "Might I have a word with your students?" It's like, "Of course, sir. Class, I need you to step away from the windows and give him your undivided attention." And as each of the children reluctantly turn away from the sight outside, the administrator's voice rises. "We have received word that enemy forces have been sighted in the city. The guards are on alert and have ordered us to lock down. I need you all to make your way to the auditorium, and we will remain there until further notice." One by one, the teacher attempts to gather the class together, just going, hey, calm down. You're going to hurt yourselves running like that. Some of the children, they've just broke down and began crying. Others are trying to gather their belongings, and some are just even pushing and fighting each other to get to the door first. Amidst the chaos, Carla turns to her friend and sees the administrator kneeling before him. Let me bring him over to you, Pacifico. Okay. "Your Highness, I need you to come with me. A guardsman will come for you when a route has been cleared. Until then, I will see to your safety personally."
Even before the administrator started speaking, he already realized that it was going to be something like that. And he could, in fact, he was already collecting his things to head out the door to go towards Carla before the administrator knelt before him. Telling him to come with him. Pacifico wasn't really the sort to have the assertiveness to push back on that kind of order. Especially not when, again, he felt like kids were looking at him, being like God. He gets this kind of special treatment too. He's gonna be more protected while we're in more danger. What a fucking jerk. He did look up towards Carla, a little saddened, but he was too young for the actual fighting. He gave a nod to her. She'd be fine. He had a good feeling that she'd be fine. I understand. As he looked towards the administrator and then back towards Carla. "We'll meet back after all of this, okay?"
And Carla just nods back to him. Even though she'd seen Pacifico come out of his shell little by little over the past few months, despite her efforts, the boy just had no fight in him. "Well, stay safe then." And then, eyeing the administrator, "And you better take real good care of him." And wrangling the panicked children wasn't easy, but the teacher's able to get them to leave single file towards their destination. Carla, she takes her place in the line, and she does end up walking out of the classroom. And the loud noise from the students are echoing down the hallway, and as per instruction, across, they each turn left to follow the instructions, and the teacher, she sees Carla turning right. And with that, she just screams out, "Carla, get back here!"
Pacifico had actually been taken a back way by the administrator, although he was still close enough to the rest of the group to be able to hear his teacher yelling for Carla. He looked in the direction of the yelling for a moment, a little confused. I mean, what was Carla doing now, of all times? Admittedly, he was scared, thinking there was nothing he could do, and expecting that he'd see her coming his way instead. But then he managed to get a look outside.
Alrighty. Let's bring this back over here. Once Carla makes her way outside, She can faintly hear the roar of gunfire and the clashing of steel in the distance. The fighting was already starting. Fortunately, it wasn't too terribly close, so she surmised it had to have come from the edge of the city. She races through the courtyard. Let me put you there. She races through the courtyard and stops at the school gate. It's locked. Yeah, it's closed and locked. Through the iron bars, she can see nearby citizens. Those who are already holed up in their homes are shutting their windows and their doors, and others in the streets are seeking shelter in the local shops and the taverns, assisted by squads of soldiers as they march to the battle ahead. Carla, stupidly, tries to climb the tall gate herself, but every grasp and jump is just resulting in her sliding down the bars and back onto the ground. It's like,
Pacifico actually found the courage to fight back this time. There was fight in him. The administrator probably wouldn't have been able to physically restrain him if he tried, but Pacifico was also quick, leaping out and through the window to get closer, sprinting her way and calling out her name. Carla! What are you doing?
And with that, there we go. She flinches at the familiar voice, and she happens to see the young Triton running towards her. It's like, well, about damn time he comes around, she thinks. Pacifico, help me get past this gate.
Pacifico's voice seemed to freeze in the moment from what he saw on the other side of the gate. He was about to say that she was liable to get killed out here. He wasn't entirely sure if it was the flash of a muzzle or fire roaring through the sky or really what it was. But he could see something coming towards her. So what he did was he leapt into her. And knocking her down a bit away from it. Managing to not get hit by what was coming himself, although there was still a burst between them, knocking them both backwards in opposite directions.
All right. Okay. The wind was knocked out of Carla when Pacifico tackled her, but as soon as she felt the force of his push, the weight of the prince was gone. And then something crashed into her hard before she finally laid motionless for a brief moment. Whatever it was that sent them flying, it sent the girl face first into the gate. Coming to, Carla, clutching her pounding head, she pulls her hands away for a moment, and she sees blood on her fingers. And with that, Carla wailed.
Heard that wailing, but he was dizzied by being sent flying back, looking up only to be stunned in silence, frozen with orange and red filling his vision, flames alit from the ground between them. He couldn't even see her through the smoke, heat hitting his face especially. Blood was coating his face as he stepped back in stunned fear. He kept saying he was going to hurt anyone who got too close to him. They shouldn't have friends because he was dangerous. As far as Pacifico was concerned, they were right. Directly or indirectly, as someone came to pull him away from the blast zone, he had caused what happened.
Alright. Whoop. Alright, and we'll just have... Let me grab both your tokens and begin to pull you away. Okay. For a few moments, she screams in pain, but when it briefly subsided, she looks around frantically for him. She saw smoke, but no sign of the prince. She didn't want to believe it. When she asked for his help, he cowered. When she took matters into her own hands, he attacked her. Clearly, her needs meant nothing to him. And that's when she hears, Piccola Signora. It was, hang on, let me grab him real quick. You got a little familiar face here.
Yeah!
Yeah, have to do it. It's the name. It was the name that her father would call her, but it wasn't his voice that spoke it. A man approaches her, pin on his lapel, displaying the sigil of her family. He's a friend of the family. Who did this to you? Carla would heave before gritting her teeth. Pessi. No. Il principe feroce!
He couldn't see anything through that smoke. The person who came to get him, I don't know, maybe it was the administrator? There were probably some words about how he should be more careful, but they didn't really register. Only 3 words registered that came from the other side of that smoke. And if we can cut back to the regular scene to have Pacifico to have
Yeah, of course.
Il principe feroce.
All right.
I have a history of the people I'm trying to protect being the exact people I wind up hurting. And when it happens that early, it sticks with you.
All right. So MM, Luke, Amy, what do you have to say to all of that?
I would like to say possibly Canvas too, since Kaidam heard it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. In amongst what was happening there, Canvas she didn't appear down here, but she woke up in the night and was just curious what was happening down there. So she caught like the later half of the story. And she's just kind of sitting in bed. Her eyes are glassy, and Kaidam's eyes are glassy. The tune is still playing, but yeah.
Children can make such big mistakes without figuring out that that's what they are. You're afraid of getting us hurt. To be honest, it's a pretty good thing to be afraid of, to be honest. If someone isn't afraid they're going to hurt their friends, well, there's typically something wrong with their head. But I can only speak for myself when I say that getting hurt is kind of part of my job. I can't count the amount of times I've accidentally snapped my fingers inside of a machine, burnt myself on a piece of molten metal. There's probably more scars on my hands under the fur than there is fur on my body. I'm used to being physically hurt. And if that's all you manage to do to me, that's just water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned.
I guess you could say it's harder for me to forgive myself for it than it is for you to forgive me for it. All things considered.
Oh, yeah. We are our harshest critics, and you had an awful experience where you accidentally you tried to save somebody and they got hurt and blamed you for it. Your first friend. Someone that can be defining in how you treat yourself and others. And they blamed you for an accident. So you blamed you.
Especially when she comes back years later.
And trying to kill you.
He nods a little bit.
There's a difference between what happened to her and you potentially hurting us, though. We're old enough to understand that even if you do, it's not your fault. That there's this other side of you that only speaks in violence.
That he looks towards Luke wasn't the other side.
No. No, it wasn't. It was you trying to save someone. But neither of you were mature enough to know how it would affect you for the rest of your lives. I'd like to think I'm... Hang on. He just sort of clears his throat a bit. I'd like to think that I'm rather mature, even though I'm only 12.
For a 12-year-old? Yeah, definitely.
And that lends me some knowledge of how to handle different situations, like being hurt. Look, my first option because I didn't agree with my dad was running away from home and disappearing. You retreated inward and started blaming yourself.
I still do that.
Yeah, and I'm still running away. I'm still here. It's 4 years after I ran off. I've been away from home for a whole third of my life because I'm too scared to face my dad and tell him that I don't agree with what he does. You've managed to put yourself in a position where your fears and worries are melting away over time. I met you earlier this year, and you were afraid of people even noticing you. You put on a show yesterday. A show for everyone to come and see who you are. Not El Principe Feroce. Prince Pacifico Whitewater. You can't let the past define who you are in its entirety. I've lived as I lived as someone else for 4 years.
You
4
technically still,
years.
you technically still do.
I do, yeah. I live as someone who I'm not, and you're here being exactly who you are. Kind of envious of how confident you can be with it.
Confident. He looks kind of confused at being called confident.
Dude, you went on stage. You went in and you conducted, prepared, and ran essentially your entire performance yesterday. It takes a lot of confidence in oneself to be able to put that out there. I'm not even the one who sold the dragon spice to the school. I did that as Luke. Someone else who could talk for me.
I don't know if MM knew that Luke was someone else, was actually... I'm not entirely sure if MM actually knew this.
Yes, does know that Luke has been concealing his identity while he's at the school.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I knew that some of the scenes where that happened, he was not there for. I didn't know if this had been told to her before.
You were there during the proposal where
Oh yeah.
he was as Luke and as himself.
Oh okay. My apologies.
During a lot of the latter part of this conversation, Pacifico's hand is just reflexively drawing, which is not something he typically does. It would normally be writing, but this time he's just drawing. Like, partially because he's a little in a fidgety mood right now. Can't imagine why. But it ends up looking like he's drawing a flame on a piece of paper.
Does anyone else notice this?
Amy notices it, and she's been just letting Pacifico let it out.
I guess you guys know exactly where my pyrophobia comes. Probably about half of my phobias come from.
MM just kind of looks down for a second because Oops remembers that initial encounter. From what I mean, you've definitely been able to look past. You've definitely been able to look past. What people for their first. You've been able to look past people for past their first impressions. So.
Well, yeah, because you're, in a lot of ways, you're exactly like me. There's a part of you that does things that you really have no control over. And even then, that part of you, even if it's very self-serving and kind of mean still has the capacity to mean well. Has the capacity to do good, even if it's not necessarily for a reason that most would recognize as good. But that doesn't really change it much. Some of what Alice has said to me about some things has been, to some degree, right, even if a bit extreme. And she showed us today that she can get along with you, too.
All required is a common enemy.
Yeah.
He looks down, kind of shifting back in his chair, a little surprised as he now realizes he's been drawing this flame. You know, somewhere in the back of my mind, I worry that... Well, I guess worry isn't the right word. There's this guilt that my friendship with Carla didn't work out, not just because of the friendship itself, but because of what us being friends could have meant for the war. It could have saved hundreds, maybe even thousands of lives. Potentially. Especially now that I know who she was.
Well, unless you want to piss off some gods, you can't change the past.
I know.
The war's not your fault, and those deaths aren't on your hands.
Logically, I can register and agree with everything you're saying. And I can even probably wind up ending the evening, maybe even into tomorrow, being fully aware of all of these things. But those feelings just always seem to creep back some way or the other. And that's not to try to hold a pity party or anything, but I guess maybe what I'm trying to say right now is that, even when it's these things that I already know, kind of being reminded of it is, probably more... It's probably really helpful. Because these feelings get very cyclical. He looks to Amy. I know you have some feelings that get that way as well. Even if you push past them, you don't really push past them.
Yeah. Hey, guys, listen. I know if any of you want to, but I might go get us a little snack from the tavern. Do you guys want anything?
Is anyone open at this time of night?
Bose is always open. They've got at least one person on staff.
Huh.
Some nights it's me.
Yeah, I think I could probably go for something. I'll even go with you. Maybe the fresh air.
Change of scenery might be
To help-
nicer than sitting here all night.
Yeah. He kind of looks at that drawing of the fire again. A change of scenery.
Luke hops up and walks over to Kaidam.
Who's staring directly at Pacifico, by the way. The music's still playing, but the eyes are glassy and just kind of staring.
Luke just sort of waves in front of the eyes and tilts to look up. We're going to Bose. Are you coming?
The eyes stop being glassy for a moment, and eventually Canvas comes downstairs. Map, help me. There we go. Eventually, she comes downstairs, and you can see she is disheveled. She's not wearing her glasses. She's kind of just walking along, and looking closer, you can see that her collar on her shirt is actually partially covered in silver currently. She kind of just like looks between everyone silently, just kind of nods and follows along.
How much of that were you listening to?
Enough. Sorry.
No, it's fine. If anything, I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I'm ever going to get through that story again without breaking down.
I don't know if I can tell you my story the same either. But
I really,
that's another time.
I really don't have much of a story myself, but
Aren't you the lucky one?
I don't know if I'd call what happened to her lucky. But
I don't think any of us are really lucky in that sense.
I'm right
Oh.
here.
I was about to say, except for one of us.
Nah, I think I'm pretty lucky. I didn't think I'd actually meet anyone who'd tolerate me when I got to this place.
It is your name.
Did you do that to try and hamper the bet, or?
No, it's just easier for people to accept the name Lucky Star when you have a star birthmark over one of your eyes.
Yeah.
People are
Besides, I
used to
haven't met
parents
many
being
people
kind of
with-
boring.
I'm not really used to people having two names as their first name anyway.
That too. Crow Ash is a bit weird.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a fake name, it'd probably be Snow because of my hair.
You know, when I first, this is like as they're walking at this point. You know, when I first came here, I was thinking of trying to pass my name off as Girapor. Try to hide my identity. Fake being one of the noble bloodline who runs the city of Girapor.
I mean, I wouldn't have picked up on it.
Could have fooled me.
Well, I don't know if it would, because, you know, they don't exactly have red hair.
Yeah, but
Granted, neither does my mom, so.
Yeah, but I had never been to Kaladesh. I wouldn't have known that.
I had never been to Gearpaw.
We didn't end
wish
up doing it though.
And I wish I knew what my name was.
We'll figure out.
Why not give yourself one? Alice did. So why not pick one for yourself?
I know with Alice is a temporary thing. Once we figure things out, probably won't need to hide behind that.
Well, maybe whatever name you come up with, you won't need anymore once you figure things out. You never know.
Hey, you may find yourself liking your new name more than your old one.
I mean, you don't know. Maybe Alice likes Alice enough to just keep being Alice.
He's just gonna keep walking ahead.
See, Pacifico is still walking as he's saying this. He seems to be in a better mood, having gotten so much trauma out of his chest.
I could go for dinner, to be honest. Haven't eaten since breakfast.
If I'm being honest, I lost my lunch, so dinner sounds good.
It's really weird. I'm never up this late.
How rare are they willing to cook the steaks?
You can get it raw if you want.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, no, they handle having carnivores there all the time. You can just have it raw.
I guess it's important. I guess it's worth asking. Do you, if we're all going, does someone need to stay behind and watch the door, or?
No, you're coming with us.
I'm gonna send
Wait.
Kaidam to look after.
I'm leaving these three here anyway.
Wait, you're coming with us. Wait, what?
You were picked up by the. Da-da-da-da.
It's like Luke will drag you by
You
the
acquired MM.
Yeah, Luke will drag you by the hem of your dress if he has to.
MM has been added to your inventory.
MM has joined the party.
Yeah, I would have said join the party, but it was like the opening the chest and getting the item sound, so that's why I was.
MM has forcibly joined the party.
Alright.
And she's not saying. She's not going to decline it or anything. She's just surprised.
Come on, dinner and drinks are on me tonight.
Alrighty, so okay, so I
Weren't they the last time? Wait, that reminds me. Didn't you pay for? You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna question it.
Alrighty, so yeah, so we'll actually just so we'll just have like you guys, you go to the tavern and just kind of like discuss things amongst yourselves, kind of just like unwind, relax, try to take your mind off of everything that happens, and we'll just fast forward now to the next day.
Yay!
Yeah.
Alrighty, so
Yeah.
all right, so you said Sedgemore Swamp, correct?
Yeah.
I need to go and get in contact with someone first.
Oh, okay.
We can do that. We can do that first.
Yeah, let's turn off the Pacific.
No,
yeah,
let's turn off the war music.
Yeah, turn off the Pacifico trauma track. Because that's twice. That's twice now I've used this song for Pacifico with trauma. So it's like I am dubbing that as the Pacifico trauma track.
I started writing this a bit back, but I'm gonna send this to you now. You don't have to read it until obviously after the session or whatever.
Okay.
But hey, damn, that document is the reason why Canvas understands way too well what's going on with Pacifica.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, so did you coincidentally write something that's really similar to it?
It's got certain similarities, not. It doesn't have like the same friend dynamic situation or anything like that. But
Yeah. Well, that's where.
But just several weird coincidences in the storytelling.
Okay. Well, like I said, like after the session, I'll take a look at that, and then it's like, as always, like, yeah, we can, if we can find a way to like fit that in somehow in a flashback sequence, we can do that. Because it's like, yeah, like that flashback sequence that Boone and I did. Yeah, we were like working on that during like the entire freaking break. You know, so it's like, I know we had that working on, we had that going. I got a flashback with Amy that I need to work on. So Canvas, we can get something with you. Luke, if there's any particular flashbacks, you know, again, just let me know. We can always work stuff out and, you know, find ways to fit it in.
Look, my flashbacks won't happen for a long time.
All right, then.
If
Canvas
there's any
is
more...
likely to recount this, not even to Pacifico, because she thinks it might be painful.
Okay.
She's probably gonna recount that story to the people she's bringing with her to Kaladesh on the summer holiday.
Okay. All right, so we can worry about this next session. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, anyway, before we head over to Sedgemoor, Luke.
I need to go talk to Shivadri.
Alrighty then. Alright, so you will go on and make your way to her room. Alright.
Luke knocks on the door.
Alrighty, and then with that, Shivadri will answer. And she goes, you know, it's like, oh, hello, Luke.
Hey, Shivadri.
Something's on.
Do you mind if I step in?
Oh, sure.
Do you mind if I step in?
Of course.
And he steps into the room, shuts the door.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's on your mind?
The rest of us, we are starting a. How the hell do I explain this? A Dean-sanctioned covert operations unit to operate behind the scenes and try to protect the school and find out who could be trying to harm everyone.
Alright.
And he produces the ring and offers it up to her. And I'd like if you'd be willing to join us.
Alright. And then with that, she will, you know, kind of like just bow her head, just be like, I would be honored to. And with that, she will accept the ring.
Do you remember those wrecked shacks we found in Sedgemoor when we went to cleanse the corruption in there?
Yes, by one of the underground springs.
We have been given permission to use that as a base of operations. Everyone should be meeting there in a couple hours.
All right.
This is sort of a secret. We can't really let everyone know. The ring is to let us know that you are a member of the group, and it will help the wildlife. It is mildly enchanted, so the flora and fauna of the Sedgemoor understand that you're meant to be there.
I see. I was like, all right, well, very well then. It's like, all right, so I suppose I'll see you all there.
I'll see you there.
All right, thank you.
He gives a gentle nod and leaves.
All right. Alrighty, so. All right, so anything else before we move onward?
Amy's gonna pick up Rabina, but that can happen off screen.
Yeah. Alrighty, so in that case, we'll just go on ahead and come to the swimp. Let me get.
I still need to go and grab Kia, unless she's already here.
Yeah, Kia.
She was there during the first talk about it,
Okay.
so she's probably showing up here at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, so let me. Sorry, let me get the camera situated.
I might.
God, it's so weird, like
Also-
having to adjust all this while DMing, but that's okay.
We should probably dump the extra Amy that's in the bottom corner.
Wait, what?
There's an extra Amy. Oh,
Yeah.
there is.
Okay.
Oh,
There's-
Whoopsie.
Okay.
There be two
What?
of them.
Yeah, and canvases. Okay. No problem. I got it. Oh,
magic.
I got it. Oh, I got it. So got it. Okay. Yep. So yeah, as you guys make your way through the swamps, sure enough, as you're going through, normally like the two-headed gators and such that would normally just kind of like be on guard. Yeah, you see, like, as you walk past, they will actually kind of like, they'll walk away from you. They'll clear away, allowing you to approach. You can already see, like, the water isn't nearly as, like, mucky and disgusting, as it was before. So the purification clearly taking its toll. So you guys shouldn't have to be making, like, any kind of, like, athletic checks or anything to not touch the water. Unless
I feel like-
unless you don't want to get wet.
I feel like Pacifico would be saying "sup dudes" to them.
Alrighty. Alrighty, so now you're all, so you're all, kind of make your way over onto, the island. Yeah, in the middle. Alright.
By the time everyone else has gotten there, Luke has set up sort of a scrappy workstation already. Like, he's pulled out one of the rotting tables and has done his best to fix it and put down just some sheets of paper to work on. Alright. Are we still missing anybody? Everyone here?
I think the only person we're missing is.
Alright.
Did we tell? Did we?
Okay.
Yeah, we're missing just. I think we're only missing Kia, but she should be here soon.
Okay.
Pacifico has a clipboard checking off who's here.
Alright, so as you are
Because of course he fucking does. Fucking nerd.
of course. Alright, so as you're all, just kind of gathering and getting ready, that is when, you'll actually hear from across, the ways, it's like, I'm here! And, sure enough, you see, Kiha making her way towards you all. was like, yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm late. You know, I did get a message saying that you all wanted to, you wanted to speak with me.
It's the first meeting. There's bound to be a little bit of scheduling weirdness.
MM, you want to give her a ring?
All right. She goes over to Kia and gives the ring that Luke had prepared for her.
Oh, it's like, oh, thank you, but what's this for?
That will let everyone else here know who you are, even if you're disguised. Because we're going to have to do some pretty underhanded stuff to get the sort of information and work done we're going to need to do. That involves a lot of sneaking around, and these rings, they're sort of a pass. Everyone have theirs?
Yep, and then one by one, like everybody like nods, says yes.
All right. Well, then I suppose then this marks the first meeting of the Convergent Embassy.
Yeah, it's like a Kadora so cool. He'll lean over to Pacifico. That is a cool name.
Very good name.
I'm no leader. I'm just the one who's going to be building all the stuff that we're going to need. But today I have the things we need to go over. Our school is under attack, not just from outside forces, but from someone who used to go here. He goes by the name Mogaxa. He is, if my memory serves, an elf cursed with incredible power at the cost of his own body. He's slowly wasting away, and it seems that in the past he has killed someone and their soul cannot be contacted. Running theory is we are working against a lich or some sort of lich-like creature. He has hired on a thief, one Carla Sabatelli, also known as Orca. And his main goal is to try and get into the archives, a hidden repository of dark and dangerous spells, items, and knowledge. We are sanctioned by the deans to go outside of the rules of the school itself in order to ensure people's safety, find out what we can about who else he may be working with and when they plan to attack. And we are here with the major goal of stopping Mogaxa.
Yeah.
I believe another aspect of this worth noting, based on our first interaction with Mogaxar, at least this is the impression that I got during that interaction, he does seem to be interested in potentially working with Dovin Bond, and the disappearance of Thistle was not his doing.
Kiha will actually she'll just pipe up. It's like, this Mergoxor, is he the one that we saw in the swamp?
Yes.
The very same.
Oh dear.
We are dealing with a man who is, by all measures, trying to save his own life and is desperate enough to do whatever he can to get what he wants. This is not going to be safe by any means. In fact, it could be quite dangerous to the point where it may end in us being either severely wounded or, God's forbid, killed. If this is a step too far for you, you are free to go back to the school and let us do our work.
Okay, and then yeah, like so everyone they just kind of like they just kind of like maybe stay in silence, maybe just kind of like look around, try to like gauge each other's reactions to it, and that is where Rubina, she'll actually she'll step up and she'll just say, it's like, well, look, I can't just look away from something like this. If there is some danger, that's fine. I'm used to it from home. But yeah, I cannot afford to look the other way. So come what may, I will do what I can. Now, you said you suspect that Dovin Bond is involved?
Not directly
Not yet.
involved. Not yet. But we believe
We don't have any
Mugaxor.
proof of that.
But we believe that Mugaxor may very well attempt to recruit him if given the opportunity.
And what
Possibly
yeah.
possibly the inroad would be common enemies between those Mugaxor is aligned with. Not stating that that part of the common enemies is himself.
Right. I find it hard to believe that Dovin Bond is alive, but
Oh,
it's like,
he
Ask
very much is.
Javanish.
no, it's like
Javanish Stout Claw.
it's like it's like I read the article that you wrote, and
He was in the Bull's End Tavern yesterday.
Last
as a matter
night.
Of fact. Yep.
hi.
He in fact wanted to speak to me directly
And what did he say?
about how the things in that article were exaggerations, blah blah blah, bunch of lies, basically.
So he's just trying to cover himself then.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's like, somehow I shouldn't be that surprised. But if word came out that he had perished, so the warrant on him no doubt would just be cleared. But if he's still indeed alive, another one's gonna need to be written then.
Most likely. Hopefully the Azorius will actually see this as a problem for once.
Okay. He's like, well, yeah. It's like, is that something you're gonna try and do?
That is in fact something I'm going to try to do. Anytime there's any indication of his presence around here, I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on that for any sort of slip up whatsoever.
It's like, well, in that case, I've got your back. And with that, she'll actually hold up a hand. And, Pacifico, you recognize that, on her hand, she is also wearing an Azorius Senate signet ring.
Oh my god!
Holy shit, it's
The
another
plot
senator.
twist!
Yeah, she's like,
And that looks like your other ring.
Yeah, it does. He holds up his Azorius signet ring.
yeah, it's like, well, I know you didn't, well, I know you'd made that no secret. But yes, currently I am operating in the Liev column. And I'm doing, I'll do what I can. I can perhaps maybe ask my grandmother. she might be able to pull some strings. She's a pretty high-ranking captain. You know, it's like it's like not just on behalf of Azorius, but you know, I too have a little bone to pick with Dovin Bond.
Oh, great.
I happen to have been the Tavastian representative that voted in favor of his death penalty the first time.
Huh? Yeah, it's like good. It's what he does. It's what he deserves for abandoning us the way he did.
Exactly. He tried to say that the meal could have set up that there were that there was some traitor. You know what I fucking did? You're gonna love this. I told him I'd ask Lazav personally.
I mean, look, let's be real. It's probably not too out of the realm of possibility to, you know, suspect that this would be Demir, but I don't really, I don't see what they would have to gain from it.
It's a reasonable suspicion, but I would think that you wouldn't have the Gatewatch as direct witnesses of his crimes if that was the case. Just a hunch.
I was like, either way, I'll be going back home to Ravnica during the summer, and I'll do what I can. I'll ask my grandmother, see if we can possibly get another warrant written out. I don't know how this could. I don't know if this could possibly mean we can get some boots on the ground, but you know, the least I can do is get it started.
Possibly some of the paperwork related to sending resources to appropriate places. That might be my specialty.
Okay. And then, with that, alright, so, alright, okay, let me see, with that, we will actually have we'll have a Tilana, you know, she will actually turn to Canvas, and she'll just say, you know, so, that, when you came back from the swamps, though, all those wounds that you had, were they from him?
Yeah. He kind of just held up his hand, and I was unable to do anything, and every time I lashed out, it just kind of backfired.
So you're
I didn't care in the moment, though.
all right. So you're saying that any attacks on him are somehow reflected back onto the attacker?
At least when he's holding up his hand. I'm not entirely sure if it happens to all effect.
Oh, but still, that is some dark magic. I've never heard of anything like that happening.
If I may weigh in on that,
Oh, yes.
it seemed that it wasn't exactly reflected, more so the attacker experienced it as well. It looked like, from my perspective, it looked like he was being harmed. It's just that he also inflicted it on Canvas.
But the problem is, more than likely, he would have been able to take much more of the damage that Canvas was dealing than Canvas herself would.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
no, but still, that's like, I know there's ways people can connect to each other, usually through, like, you know, mind magic, but, you know, for something like that to actually be harming the body, that's new to me.
What we know from this, it means that a head-on confrontation is going to end up in us being hurt.
So we're gonna have to find another way to go around him.
Or get someone powerful enough to shut down any magic he could possibly use. We're going to need eyes everywhere. Ears listening out for anything going even slightly weird. Grayson?
Yeah, yep. And then, yeah, he just turns to you.
If there's anything I know you're good at, it's getting information out of people and figuring out where to find more. Where are you going to be during the break?
I'm gonna be going home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you could keep your ear to the ground on anything?
It's like, I think so. Okay, hang on a minute. I gotta remind myself. Important info. I gotta remind myself, where did I put him coming from? I think, there we go. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. So all right, yeah. So he goes, yeah. So upon hearing what Luke asked, he's like, that really shouldn't be a problem. Faradorn is full of all kinds of people. It's known as the city of commerce. We've got many businesses, people that travel all over the continent coming through. If anyone happens to see anything suspicious and word gets out, I would like to think Faradorn will be a good place to hear anything.
In relation to finding more potential sources of power for us to be able to utilize, I'm going to be in Ixalan, and chances are the people I'm with would also be interested in doing some of that cave diving. Treasure hunts tend to result in powerful artifacts being found, if you know where to look.
And, Kiha will chime in. She'll just say, it's like, I can keep my eye on the swamps during the summer. I mean, I don't know if he's still hiding in them or not, but still, doesn't hurt to look there, especially outside of the school.
We do know that there's another threat involved, so being able to keep an eye out for anyone else he might try to recruit to his side would be good.
All right. Okay. And then yeah, Shivadri, yeah, she'll pop in and she'll just say, well, during the summer, we actually have pilgrims coming through to reach the high sanctuary, offering prayers to the dragons. I can offer some prayers for protection myself, but I can also see if anyone has heard anything.
That's good. We'll have information coming in from lots of different places.
So that
things go right.
Okay. So then, I'm sorry. You're gonna
go.
Okay. So I was gonna say. So Grayson says, it's like, okay. So we have eyes in different cities. We've got Miss Larkingdale here. Trying to get some assistance outside. We even have a servant of the dragons offering protection. And then he just turns to Kadoris and just points. And you're here because... Yeah, and then, and Kadoris just kind of like looks and he's just like, it's like, hey, I got invited. I'm not going to pass up an opportunity like this.
Unlike you,
fair,
Grayson.
Now, to be
Kadoris,
fair,
sorry.
If we identify a target, Caddy's hitting it from about 30 miles away.
He's like, yeah, not to mention, and Kadoris just kind of points at his ears, like his clearly elven ears. So he's like, It's like, yeah, you said this guy's an elf, right?
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
It's like, listen, like, look, just take it from me. Elves here, like, we may not only, we live a long time, but we're also really, like, big sticklers when it comes to tradition. We also like to know where we all are. You know, I know.
Well, sticklers to tradition, unless you're my brother-in-law. But yeah, totally.
It's like either way, you know, we like to keep track of where we all are because we've got, you know, there's different elven nations all over the continent. Now, I just happen to be coming from, you know, the Wood Nation, you know, in the Grove of Eljor, but, you know, that's where I can look, you know, see where exactly this guy came from. You know, did he come from Eljor? Did he come from somewhere else? You know, that'll be if we happen to find where he came from, that might be a good place to start looking.
Well, information on him is sparse, other than the fact that we do know he was born near a snarl.
All right, that.
Well, isolating what sort of elven territory he was born into could potentially help identify which snarl, which actually probably could matter.
Yeah, well, look, I can tell you, you know, there isn't a snarl in Eljor, so clearly he's not a wood elf. But, you know, regardless, I'll take a look. I'll see what I can find.
Oh great, now I'm just reminded I need to invite Quinn to Eldraine. Yay!
Okay. Speaking of which, you know, Rubina, she'll actually walk over to you, Amy, and you know, she's just like, it's like, may I actually ask, how long are you going to be keeping Quinn in the dark about this? I mean, I understand why he's not here. I mean, he will just get himself killed, but you know, if you two are together, how long are you going to keep this a secret from him?
I'm probably going to tell him when I bring him to Eldraine, and I need to tell him that he can't spread this around.
Just kidding.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I mean, like, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that will just, you know, blatantly, like, you know, tell secrets like that, you know, but it's like that, and as I said, I get why he's not here, you know, and I know you want what's best for him. It's just, you better tell him sooner rather than later, you know, because yeah, if something happens to you, and he finds out about this, yo, I shudder to think what will happen. He'll probably go and do something stupid to avenge you and just get himself killed.
And to be fair, he probably would do that anyway.
Yeah, like I said, I'm planning on telling him when I invite him to Eldraine.
And at the mention of him inviting him to Eldraine, she kind of shudders, knowing how John is going to react.
You could potentially see what sort of involvement we could get from Will and Rowan on this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're going to be back home.
Yeah, because this is a multiversal threat.
All right.
I don't always like speaking with the pirates on Ixalan, but maybe I'll see if Malcolm wants to help.
That leaves me. I'll likely be staying here on Strixhaven grounds and fixing this place up, as well as working further on the Dragon Spy network covering the school. The rings will let the Dragon Spies that will be watching the school know sorry, brain breaking. The rings will let the dragon spies know that even if you're out after curfew, that you are given a clearance to do so, and if any teachers are watching the feed, they will know. We have a lot to do, a lot to figure out, and a lot to plan for in case of an attack. The deans themselves have already set out to hire some guards to watch over the vault during the break, and then afterwards. But when the year starts anew next year, we have to be on alert at pretty much all times.
Is it the Convergent Embassy specifically that's going to be making the orientation for next year, or is it?
It's
No,
Year one players.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Year one players.
No.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Canvas.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, so Canvas, Amy, Pacifico, and Luke. Yeah, the four of you will be coming back to the school early to set up orientation. Everybody else will be following suit when it's time for classes to start.
That reminds me, they're getting ready to send out invitations to promising people throughout the multiverse, aren't they?
The invitations would be sent out in a couple days, other than MM's, who was handed to her directly.
And so with that, Kiha actually turns to MM and she's like, "You got in."
I really wasn't sure if I was after everything, but
Bless you.
bless you.
It's like,
But
it's like, no, but still, congratulations. Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
think
It's like, when they asked me to, step away, like, I guess clearly for everyone to talk, for all the deans to talk to you about this guy, I was talking with the guidance counselor, Mavinda, and she was guiding me back through the school to go back home. I did actually bring up that I would like to join. I'm hoping maybe I'll get an invitation too.
well, best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
If so, that's all the better. You probably deserve it.
Well, regardless if I get accepted or not, it's like, I'm still gonna help you guys.
Even if you don't get accepted, the ring gives you free reign to the school.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yep.
The spies won't react to your presence as someone who shouldn't be there. And all you need to do is show any of the teachers the ring, and they'll understand.
Gotcha.
Just keep wearing the rings so they start just sort of blending into your what you usually wear. We want people to question them as little as possible. That's why each one is custom made to sort of look like it was already there. Now, next order of business. A couple of you don't know who I am. And if I'm going to work this closely with you, you should know who I am. My name is Crowash Bluetwig. I am the son of Aspen Bluetwig and the heir to an interplanar weapons R&D company.
All right. So then, Yeah, so like to everybody, like I think this was
It's Rubina, Caddy, and Kiha who don't
They're
know.
the ones that don't know. Okay, that's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, who knows and who doesn't.
The other three were told during, like, before the attack on the swamp.
Okay. Alrighty, yeah, so alright, so yeah, so Rubina, Rubina, she'll just be like, it's like Blue Twig. It's like, wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. It's like I'd heard that. No one has really seen him in a long time. Your father, I mean. So.
How long?
A couple of years. I mean, he's.
Oh no.
Yeah, he seemed to be very prominent. Like it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it was hard to be able to even get like a meeting with him in the first place. But. Yeah, for the past couple of years, nobody seemed to be able to get a hold of him.
And that means he's been looking. Okay, so here's the important thing about why I'm telling you this. My dad is a man who sells to anybody. If you will pay the fee, he will sell you the weapons. And I don't agree with that. That's why I left. I ran away on my 8th birthday when I became a legal adult in our society. I am here under an assumed name, Lucky Star. And while we are on campus, I'd ask you all to refer to me still as Luke. But while we're out here, or if we're on another plane, you can refer to me by my true name if you choose. I am doing my very best to make sure my dad doesn't find me. Because if he does, he's going to likely do some things to try and get me to come back, because I'm his only kid, as far as I know. Don't know if Mum and Dad have given me any siblings yet.
No.
But I'm the firstborn, which means I have to inherit the company, and he wants me back there so I can do it.
All right, and Keyhall will just be like, so keep an eye out for someone that kind of looks like you.
He'll look a bit like me. He's a few inches taller, but he's also not the same color I am. He is a... You've all seen raccoons, right?
Yes. Yeah, like black and gray?
Yeah. I'm the only one who's not black and gray.
Oh.
I was born under a star, and that did some things to my biology. Think of it like being born near a snull here, but different.
I was like, oh, well.
I was born normal-looking Marpark, and then my skin and eyes changed color.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna be honest. When you asked if we'd seen a raccoon before, I was actually having to figure out if I had.
You spent most of your life living next to an ocean. It's understandable.
Yeah, no, and then like a Kodoris, Kodoris will just be like, look, not for nothing. I mean, I'm sure you've been through, all kinds of hell and back, but that is just the coolest fucking backstory I've heard yet. I mean, like, that is like...
You're literally standing next to a prince.
I mean, it's like, no, but like, what you just said, that's like something like... That sounds like something straight out of one of our LARPing sessions. That's just awesome.
Why do I have a story for you?
My life is not a joke. Please do not.
I should tell you a couple about the war sometimes.
Yeah, I hate to ruin your fun, Kodoris, but everyone here who can planeswalk has been through something horrible.
I fell into a hole the first time I planeswalked.
Oh, amazing. Very rarely is it amazing, though.
Hmm.
It was
Anyway,
a very long hole. One of the moles dug it, and I was really small at the time.
were you just falling forever?
It felt like
God,
it.
I hate that feeling. But I also love that feeling when I understand it, so like...
I didn't realize how long I'd been there until I woke up. It was Tavastion I woke up at. And when Dad found out I was there, showed up with the help of one of the people we knew who could planeswalk. It turns out I'd been falling for 3 days. I don't know who did that, but they seem to have distorted time and space down there.
Maybe not. So maybe that was just you planeswalking.
Maybe. I don't know. I can hardly remember what happened for the next 3 weeks. So, the reason I'm telling you who I am is because I don't feel it fair to work so closely with you without you knowing the truth. I don't like having to lie about who I am. I just don't want my dad to find me.
Right, may as well tell you guys. By the way, Carlos Sabatelli actually used to be like my closest friend when we were little.
Yeah, so it's like... Yeah, so that's where, you know...
And I also didn't know she was literally the daughter of the guy that was trying to kill my entire family. So that's fun.
So, we'll be clear here is that we have skin in this game. The people that Morgax are working with seem to be incredibly closely tied to some of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and that's where Grayson comes in. It's like, oh, not just you. Yeah, it's like, Orca used my name to try to plan the assassination. Why do you think I've been, you know, getting involved in everything?
Him.
You weren't involved before she used your name.
Alright.
In fact, it seems like every time I bring something to you to look at, you're very interested in it. I'm not saying
Is
you
he
don't have,
catchy?
I'm not saying that you don't have skin in the game, but it's a little bit deeper than just somebody putting your name on parchment.
Yeah, it's like regardless, I'm not gonna let that stand.
Is he catching on? The answer is no.
Alright, and then,
All right.
okay. Alrighty, so then... Alright, so yeah, so then I guess, Rubina will turn, she's like, alright, so we all have a game plan. We all know what we're gonna be doing for the next couple of months, right?
Yep.
Then,
I know what I'll be doing.
alright, then when should we meet back up here?
After the orientation of the first years, we might be able to find some people we can bring in.
Gotcha.
If you find any first years that may be able to help us, bring them here after orientation is finished. Because this could be years in the making. We don't know how long we'll need to prepare for what could be an invasion.
I'm also going to be observing orientation closely for anyone I feel has good potential.
During orientation, I'll be here, waiting for you to bring everyone in.
All right, Tilana, I'll just say, so we're looking for quality, not quantity.
Quality. We want the students who are going to do the best they can to help us. Maybe slightly looser morals because we may need to do some shady shit.
All right. All right. Okay, so yeah, all right. Yeah, is anything else that anybody wants to say?
Nope. I mean, Amy has a little bit of a slight look on her face, but that's for something else.
Canvas is notably staying quiet.
Okay.
MM is also staying quiet.
Sifiko is dotting some I's on his clipboard.
All right. That's the first meeting done. I suppose we'll see each other after the break.
Okay.
Back in character.
All right. All right.
By the way, if I find anything while I'm in Ixalan, I think can be used for that sword. I'll bring it your way.
Yep, I'll be here or at my place. You know how to get there.
Oh, of course.
If any of you need to contact me at any point, either come here and leave a note or leave a note with one of the deans. I'll still be in contact with them during the break. Because I'm not really going anywhere.
All right.
Any like modifications you'd like done to this area to be more comfortable or give you your own workspace, leave those here and I will make sure it's all done. I'm going to have and he just sort of gestures to his constructs, a bit of help building, so I'll be able to put in most of what people want.
Luke, when you have a moment, I'd like to talk privately.
Alright. Yeah.
Alrighty, so then we'll just have, like, you know, we could just say, like, you know, a couple of minutes pass, like, everybody's kind of, like, you know, talking, maybe even amongst themselves, you know. Some people will probably maybe tell, like Luke or Pacifico, because Pacifico's the one taking the notes, like, you know, the offer of, you know, okay, let's, what to add in, basically building the base. You know, so everybody will give their recommendations, and then, you know, we'll just say, like, yeah, one by one, you know, everybody will be, you know, either heading back home or in Kiha's case, trudging back through the swamps. So, yeah, one by one, you know, everybody will be parting. Alright, Alright, so now that should just leave... Alright, so that should now just leave you guys.
Civico has left too.
Alright.
Oh, no, I'll still be here for the moment.
Okay. Yeah, because
I probably have to relay some of the notes on stuff to add anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because, like, pretty much, like, everybody, like, again, like, say for Kiha, everybody's going to be going back to their dorms, because, yeah, everybody's got prepared to be going back home, so they got to start gathering their things.
What's up, Camus?
So, I've mentioned it in passing to some of the others, and while I'd invite Pacifico, he's going to be busy. She kind of, like, looks over and makes sure that was overheard. I'm going to be going to Kaladesh for a specific reason, and I was wondering if you'd want to come along. MM will be there, preferably not Alice, and Amy will be there. It's just for maybe an hour or two, sometime into the summer break.
I should be able to come in for that. I won't be. I'll when you need me again. You know how to get to me.
My only issue, I need to be clear on what is happening, because for the other two it might not impact them as much. I'm going to be visiting my mum.
The pirate queen, right?
She thinks I'm dead.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's the reason why you want people to go with you. Understood. I'll be there to help.
The issue with
bet I
inviting
could find-
you... One moment, Pacifico. The issue with inviting you, Luke, and the reason why I left you until last, outside of accepting Pacifico's want for a bit of alone time, was because I think she might know you. And I think she might recognize you, more specifically. And I'm worried
Elaborate.
what that means. She's stolen a lot of things marked with a certain name. And she's been spying on a lot of meetings with a certain name.
So she might know I am a blue twig.
A long time ago, when you first told me that you were a blue twig, I flinched and didn't say anything, because I've personally cracked a few of those crates.
I hope you got some of the better work I made.
I mean, the renegades have plenty of it.
I sent most of my stuff to Kaladesh.
The obvious issue is, while I'd love for you to be there, presents a different issue.
If she tries to kill me, I'll be fine.
She wouldn't try and kill you. She might try and coax something out of you. But
Coax what out of me?
information,
Look.
free shit.
Information I can give freely. If it helps her take down Dovan Barn, I can give it freely.
Yeah. I
Speaking
think she might be
speaking of-
preoccupied, though.
Speaking of taking down Dovan Bond, even if it's not this summer, at some point, I should probably meet your mom too. I want to, but
I really
given-
do want you all to meet her eventually, and then
Right.
eventually Tilana, but that's a different issue entirely.
in my case, yeah, in my case, it's kind of, just a bit of space to untrauma myself.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a way to put it, by the way.
I'm gonna say, Canvas, could you hold off on inviting me for a little bit? Like, give me some time.
Yes, I was thinking of doing it probably two-thirds or maybe three-quarters of the way through the summer.
Yeah, because I did invite MM to stay over in Eldraine, and she looks kind of disheartened when she says this. And my dad's birthday's coming up.
Do you want me there for that, or...? Because for the rest of the summer I'm going to be bouncing around to different places, gathering knowledge, and either sightseeing or going back to help Luke.
I mean, if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I wouldn't mind the company, though.
Pacifico is currently remembering. He's currently remembering when they had the argument after Pacifico ran off to Luke on his own, where Canvas expressed that fear of the one person that was left that could protect being gone, and hearing her say she was planning it like 2/3 of the way through the summer. It's like, well, I mean, if it's that late, then I'll probably at least be feeling somewhat better by then.
Alright, well, it'll be nice to have a good few of my friends. Yeah. DePaula is gonna kill me! Oh.
Canvas, remember how your mother used to say that I'm her second child?
Yeah, she hasn't seen you in an equally long period of time. She probably doesn't think you're dead, but my biggest worry is she's probably going to be pissed at Rags, because Rags knows that I'm alive.
Oh my god.
And Rags is going to have to fake being surprised, and there's only so many emotions a tiny monkey can express.
Oh, I did not realize Rags was a tiny monkey.
Oh, yes, you haven't met Rags. I think only one of you really has. Yes, a small white monkey about yay tall, and they hold their hand up to their hip. Yes.
You know, considering this starting to feel suitable, that I'm also going to be talking to Malcolm about helping with this shit.
Malcolm?
Like, siren pirate on Ixalan.
Right. Ixalan. I don't think I've... you know, for my repertoire, I should probably have been there at least once.
I've heard bit about that in passing when I was chatting up with Elspeth on Theros.
Speaking of, the repertoire of planes we've been to, I'm going to be spending at least some of my time on Alara. Does anyone want to come with me?
Which shard?
Hopping between Esper and Jund.
I pretty much only been to Bant, and Bant was actually one of the places I was considering going to school.
Esper's the place where I'm learning about treatments.
Ah.
I might jot over to Theros for a bit. They got really nice hot springs.
I would go to Naya to talk to a Johnny about some of this shit, but I it'd be awkward.
Yeah.
You know, because of the whole thing.
Well,
Not elaborating on the thing.
I gotta talk to Quinn after this.
Do you need something to help you focus, or are you going to be alright?
I wouldn't mind having a little bit of company.
Company I can do?
I'm in the
That said,
same
before-
I'm in the same dorm as him. I can just be over there pretending to do paperwork. Yes, sometimes I pretend to do paperwork, believe it or not.
Alright,
hey, pretending to look busy helps you keep the boss off your back.
That's not what... You know what? Never mind.
Alright, I'm
Canvas,
gonna head back to the
perfect.
dorms. I also gotta do some packing.
Alright, I'll meet you there and then we can go talk to them. I'm gonna... She kind of looks around at the shack for a second. I'm gonna add a little bit of home, and she plucks from her belt pouch a couple vials of ether and starts fiddling with them, looking around. And when people leave, she's going to start life crafting and things like that to try and implant some filigree and stuff around to, one, help with the supports, but two, make the place feel a little bit more like home.
That's assuming Luke leaves for any reasonable stretch of time.
I mean,
he'll probably
Luke doesn't have to leave. She was kind of just waiting for like Amy and stuff to go
Pacifico
because
will probably
Aether doesn't
walk
smell
over.
amazing.
Yeah, Amy's heading out.
Alright.
Pacifico will probably go through the clipboard, go to the pages that have the notes on the base. It's like, here you go.
I can easily work all of this in here.
Some of them have drawings. Because that's a thing Pacifico does now.
I'll have to change that one a little bit. The sweeping chair is a little bit too ostentatious. Main feature we're going to have is a table somewhere centralized that everyone can sit down at and talk.
I mean,
Nobody seemed to have a preference on the shape of that.
do we want it kind of in a central location, like a large circle?
Yeah. We want essentially be the table to be the centerpiece, big enough that we can add more members over the years.
I mean, I can get to work. If you want to make the actual the tabletop piece, I'll make something quite nice to hold it. And
Alright.
she holds the vials, and as she cracks, so normally you see her put them into her arm, but she cracks it open, and the aether starts to spill into the air, and she runs her hand through it and plants it on the ground, and it starts to grow like a tree with no leaves. It's just branches that kind of branch out, and some of the roots dig into the ground, and she cracks a bunch of aether and takes her time. It probably takes about 10 minutes or more to create a small, imagine like a classic like Yggdrasil kind of table bottom, where a plate could be fitted on top and then slotted into place.
What material do you think of for the table here?
I was thinking something more natural so that it goes and, you know, deliberately clashes a little bit with the silver filigree.
I've got a source of black marble.
Black marble could look nice. Black marble, silver filigree, roots.
Hey, so you know
Something
the
that would be
first.
nice.
Hey, so you know the first time me and Malcolm talked, he had a gun to my head. It was funny.
It was funny and waterlogged. Ah.
When Amy's heading back to the dorms to
That was Pacifico. I just figured like there would be story time about Ixalan on the way back.
Alright. Alrighty.
Before MM leaves, she just says, "Remind me next time to try and mention about Alice."
That can be done.
Yeah, part of me is thinking to try and maybe see if if I should tell them beforehand. I know at the very least Talana knows. It looks over at Canvas.
Yeah.
Which, thank you for that.
She's a very caring person.
Mm-hmm.
Very warm, kind of cutesy smile for a moment, and then she shakes her head. Alright, enough of that. I should finish with this table, and she finishes some of it, and then heads off to go do the assist with with Amy.
Okay. MM is going to disappear as well.
Luke is going to stay here and draft up the plans with all the ideas that they've got.
All right. Alrighty. So, all right. So now we'll just go on ahead and we will. Oh, good time for the music to fade. But yeah, so we will now just transition over to the dorm room. So everybody is just gathering. Everybody's gathering their things. They're kind of like meeting up, like in the little lobby area, and just hanging out one last time. Saying their goodbyes. All that kind of stuff.
Oh
Canvas
yeah.
is going to quickly look to Amy and go, 1 second. They pat Amy on the shoulder as they step away for a second, guidance. And they're going to talk to Talana for a second and go, hey, I know it's probably pretty quick for this, and I don't necessarily want it to be the first time I meet your family, but can I come back with you at least to where your hometown is so that I can remember where it is when I walk?
Oh, of course. I mean,
That'd be nice.
Yes. I mean, it is a little bit of ways, so I hope you don't necessarily mind a long trip.
No, I've got plenty of time.
All right.
All right. Well, I need to go help this happen. And he kind of like gestures and looks over and walks back to Amy.
So Amy's a little nervous. Luckily, only a few people around. Like,
Hey. Can't believe summer break is already on us, huh?
Okay. Who's she talking to?
Quinn.
Quinn. Okay, yeah, because...
Dorkius Max.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's where he's like, I know, the time, it just flies so fast.
Yeah. Listen,
She kind of rubs the back of her head a little bit, like,
how would you like to stay in Eldraine for about a week or two?
Yeah, he's just like, it's like, you mean like to meet your family?
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, yeah, that's where he's like, oh, say no more. I would love to, but okay, but okay, well, what should I bring? What should I wear? It's like, is there anything I need to know about, about your home?
I will say, my brother might be a little edgy with you, but he will be. That's gonna be another thing. I am friends with some of the royalty on the plane, so whatever you need, you can ask them. And there's something I need to talk to you about. She looks around, and they're the only ones in earshot.
Mm-hmm.
Something me, Canvas, and some others are doing, and I just want to let you know so that way you don't worry or freak out.
It's like, wait.
She will start explaining the whole emissary thing that they're doing, and she's whispering it
Right.
to him.
Okay. It's like, okay, so it's like, so you're just gonna be undertaking some dangerous missions?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, that's where he's just like, yeah, and that's where he's just like, I mean, he's like, are you absolutely sure about this? I mean, I don't want anything to happen to you.
Don't worry, nothing bad is gonna happen to me. I got good friends and we got some good allies.
Oh, it's like I certainly hope so, because it's like, oh, so help me, Venus, if something happens to you. It's like, I am not gonna lose my princess.
I love him. I love him.
And don't worry, your princess is a fighter. And plus, I got this warrior beside me too. She points to Canvas.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Hopefully making sure she doesn't get hurt.
She'll have plenty of protection. He smiles a little bit, and he has lots of people to talk to.
All right.
He has several people to say goodbye to.
All right.
It's like,
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll just well, before we get to you, Pacifico, Amy, is there
Yep.
is there anyone else besides Quinn that you wanted to say goodbye to?
There is one person, but I think I would rather do that inside RP.
Okay.
Which I will, it is a certain professor that she does want to talk to before they leave.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Like I said, we'll save that for side RP, and we can always have that be maybe like a flashback or something next session. Okay. All right. So in that case, other than that, Amy, you're good.
Yeah, she is good, and she is also, she is taking her fiche and her lovely little statue.
Okay. Alrighty then. Okay. So Canvas. Was there anyone other than Tilana that you wanted to say goodbye to for the summer?
Don't think. I mean, oh, actually, no. There is definitely one outside of course, the main group.
Okay.
Canvas kind of makes her way over, and goes, "Hey Rosie, I hope you have a really good summer, but I'm just gonna." Like, she's looking back and forth between Rosie and Big Face for a second. I need to hug them one last time. And she dives in for a hug with Big Face because Big Face is really, really fun.
Yeah. Big Face, I think, you go in for the dive, Big Face, he'll just, he'll try and, wrap his little wrap his paws around you. And his...
Big scratches.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, hyenas love scratches.
Yeah.
Screechy screech.
It's and that's, that's what Rosie is it's like, thanks, Canvas. You have a good summer too.
Yeah, where are you going for summer?
Oh, I'm gonna be going back home. Yeah, and Big Face will be coming with me as usual.
Of course. Can't leave Big Face here, that's for sure.
It's like, nope.
Alright.
Yep, nope, we'll be chilling. Yeah,
Well,
we'll be chilling in Grumlet.
Grumlet. Noted. Maybe I'll drop by. Who knows?
Alright, well, yeah, it's like, well, if not, then, you know what, we'll see you at the stadium.
Yeah, of course.
Alright,
And Canvas kind of goes past and...
Alright, then, yeah, Big Face will probably give, a little yip.
Yep. Hyena noises.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now, is that all?
Yeah, I think that's all for me at least.
Alrighty, Pacifico.
First of all, he'll go over, friend hug Lorene. Oh my god! I'm gonna miss you!
It's like, hey.
I say that like we're never seeing each other again. Look.
It's like, And it's like I know it's just gonna be what, like a couple of months, but still, water besties.
Right. Water besties.
The Dorcas is Maximus.
Oh gosh.
So now that he's spoken to his gay boy girlfriend, now it's time to speak to his proper romantic relationship, the real one, the actual real one. He will also hug Caddy and kiss him on the cheek. It's like, I'm gonna miss you.
Aw. Yeah, he's gonna give you give you a big ol' hug back. It's where he's just like, I don't want us to leave.
You have to tell me everything you try over the break.
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna try to bring back some cool rocks.
It's like, oh, good. Again, I don't know what a cool rock is, but that sounds cool.
Trust me, the caves in Ixalan, they have the wildest rocks. You would be surprised. Rocks are normally fucking boring, but there's some wild ass rocks there, man.
It's like, I can't wait.
Then he goes over. You think he's just gonna say "see you next year" to the people generally at the start, but he actually does go up to Grace in particular. It's like, at the beginning of this year, I wouldn't have thought that I'd actually be coming up to you at the end and actually be wanting to say bye to you.
It's like, yeah, I hear ya, but, hey, stranger things have happened, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But regardless of how things started, now we just have to focus on what lies ahead. So you be careful.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, wherever it is you're going, you be careful.
Same to you. He extends his hand.
Okay, and then with that,
I'm glad we became. I don't want to say friends, but
Associates.
Yeah. It's like, Grayson will take.
I don't know, somewhere between. I don't know. It's starting to feel like somewhere between friends and associates.
Yeah, so Grayson, he'll probably just take your hand and he'll shake it and he'll just say, it's like, friends, associates,
I feel like if there was like a numerical scale for this sort of thing, it'd be like a 1.5,
Yeah. It's like, regardless, we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah. I agree. Still, I'll see you next year.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, then anyone else you want to say goodbye to, Pacifico?
I feel like some of it would be a bit more of the generic, bye, see you next year, it was good hanging out with you. He probably ends up saying bye to mostly everybody, even Xanther.
Yeah.
Who probably insists on pulling him in for a hug at Pacifico. I was like, pyrophobia.
I swear to God, I'm putting this on the table right now. Xander and Pacifico are going to be next to hook up.
Alright, anywho, okay, so, if we're good on that front, Luke. Where be Luke?
Luke be mute.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Also, because
I
of
missed-
the
I missed
vaguely mafia-esque background of Pacifico, like with the issue with the other family and stuff, all I can think of in the back of my head when you said kiss him on the cheek was the mafioso kisses on the cheek thing.
See, here's the thing. The thing about it is the Sabatellis, they are a mafia.
Yeah, I know, but I also see your family because they have such clear coding. I also see them as the type of family because it's not
Just
technically a
because- what, just
mafia
because-
only
what, just
thing.
because-
It's just an Italian thing to do the
Yeah,
the cheek
I'm
kiss.
like, oh, what? Because they're Italian? I see how it is. All
Yeah.
Italians are the mafia. Okay. No.
The cabaret would like to have a word with you. The brokers as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I recall, like,
I mean, they technically are also the mob.
right. Well, that's where it's like. To be fair, I believe, like East River specifically was like a cross between like Italian and Greek, if I recall, Boone. It's just I know I've been emphasizing the Italian. Just
It was originally.
Yeah.
It was originally. Yeah, it was originally Italian and Spanish. That's why Corona's name is Corona. But it kind of shifted a little bit more into Italian and Greek. Although Spain is definitely still in there in some of the influence as well.
Okay. Yeah, I just know I've been emphasizing the Italian, like, you know, especially with Carla, because that's very much, very much an Italian family.
I think if we're going for the villains from the place being the mafia, emphasizing the Italian is probably a good way to go.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the cool things about some of my settings is that you can emphasize different aspects that the settings draw from for different stories if you want.
Alrighty, then
Yeah.
and it's like, oh no. Okay,
Where are you, buddy, old pal, old friend?
Wherefore art thou, Lukey Poo?
I know, I don't know where he went.
Like, for instance, you could argue that Pacifico's dancing fighting style is based a little bit more on flamenco.
Yeah.
Flamenco Pacifico.
Alrighty, but okay, yeah, because I mean, we're pretty much at the end here, so we'll just say like, yeah, like Luke, you know, Luke will probably have said his goodbyes to people, and then yeah, ultimately, like, yeah, one by one, yeah, what?
MM does not get to say goodbye to anyone.
Yeah, does MM want to say goodbye to anybody?
She just kind of waits. To be fair, she just kind of waits back at everyone because, like she doesn't have the same, personal or like. She doesn't really like have that sort of that sort of friendship with anyone other than maybe Thistle. Oops, where's Thistle?
Right. Alrighty, yeah, so, you know, but regardless, you know, so, yeah, everybody will be saying their goodbyes, and then, you know, one by one, you know, people will be, you know, going home. You know, some people are planeswalking, others are going to be making their way, you know, perhaps to Thane, you know, to get back home on another plane, and then still others will be, you know, going home, you know, in
I
other
am
manners.
curious. Does Rubine head to Thane, or does Rubina head to Thane, or does Rubina planeswalk?
Rubina has to head to Thane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of figured that was probably what it was with Rubina, but I figured I'd ask.
Like all the way back in session 1, there were 2 people in this class that came off of the Magic School Bus, and that was Rubina and Quintilius.
The Magic School Bus.
Oh, you know what? We don't know what plane Quinn's from.
We should ask at some point.
Well, but yeah,
Before he's just from Eldraine.
No, he's not from Eldraine.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy
It would
does
be
take
it would be
Quinn's hand.
funny.
Okay, anywho.
Amy does take Quinn's hand, and they do planeswalk.
Alrighty, so, I will go on ahead and make your guys disappear.
And MM knows the way to Eldraine, I believe.
Yes. She's been there
I
before.
mean, she can also just follow the Planeswalking Sigil.
Pacifico will be packed, and he will planeswalk his way to Ixalan.
All right. Okay, and then all right, then just for funsies, so I guess yeah, well, Rabina, she will make her way to get to Fane to get on to board the Magic School Bus. And then as far, you know what? Okay, you know, just for funsies. So, the remaining planeswalkers amongst this group. So, you see 4, technically 5 people. Well, no, not technically 5. No, wait, I'm completely miscounted. I'm an idiot. 3 people. Yeah, so 3 people. So, the first one to planeswalk away is Nora.
I could see that.
Okay. The next one is Drasimir.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay. And then
it's really funny that Drasimir was the original love interest of Canvas before she changed her mind.
and then the last one, Xanther.
Oh. Oh.
I had these looks where Xanther was, and just like, huh?
Canvas is just gonna take a trip for a second and just
Wait
go
a
for
minute.
a walk around here. All right, where do these lead? I've got to know.
Okay, hang on. Let me okay, hang on. Let me pull up I gotta pull up the sheets because I gotta remember myself.
Canvas walks over and goes, "I need to see," and she kneels down and starts looking between the different sigils.
Or
I actually have a couple of guesses where Xanther is from.
okay, so go on. If you want to, you can go on ahead and make Arcana checks to see if you can pinpoint maybe where they've come from.
1, 2, 3.
I like to provide the help action.
You can help probably with at least one of them. Maybe can they help with multiple of them?
Sure, why not?
Alright, so that's the better of those 2. That's the better of those 2, and that's the better of those 2. Alright, so Arcana checks.
Yes.
The first one, so Nora, is a 15.
15. Alright. Yeah, okay, I'd say. Alright, so
I probably don't know exactly where.
right, you know, so at least immediately what you can see is you could just see it is a plain. It is just filled with all kinds of lush flora and fauna, you know, mountains, forests, you know, lakes, rivers. And at least as far as, you know, signs of civilization, you could tell they do have like a sort of Chinese design.
Tarkir?
Nope.
No.
Not
Tarkir is not. No, that wouldn't be Kamigawa either.
No.
I mean, there's some parts of Kamigawa that aren't, but
Yeah, but the thing is, there is actually a
No.
plane that is based specifically on Chinese history.
right.
I can't remember the name of
Okay,
it, but they did like a
Yeah, the plane I'm referring to is called Shenmeng.
Yep, that's the one.
So the second one, so the one for Drasimir, I got a total of 19.
All right, so
They keep going up in numbers, by the way.
oh, of course. All right.
Xanther got the highest one.
Okay, let me
Yep.
see. I got. All right, hang on. I gotta. I know what the plane is. I gotta like I'm quickly looking it up on the Wikipedia to be like, okay, what's the
Minotaur.
the best way to describe the plane?
Is it Theros?
Yeah, I'm thinking Theros, but it could also be Capenna.
Capenna's
Okay.
Could also be Dominaria.
Ravnica,
Dominaria has Minotaurs, yeah.
Does Zendikar have
Yeah, it's like
Minotaurs?
okay, yeah,
Zendikar
there's
doesn't have Minotaurs that I know
yeah,
of.
there's okay. I'm just doing like the quick glance. Yeah, I like. There's really like no way to properly describe it, but Jen, you are right. He is from Dominaria.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just giving a blurb that communicates Dominaria is impossible.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because
I wouldn't be able to do that either.
yeah, because from what I'm reading, it's supposed to be like they say it's supposed to be like Earth, and it's like like that,
Yeah,
that narrows it fucking down.
Yeah, you would have to know which region of Dominaria he's from. Is a lot of headache.
Right,
Yeah,
so that's
it's a
where I'm
headache.
just like, yeah.
Another plane that Canvas hasn't been to, and then Canvas is going to inspect the last one, which she got a 22 for.
Alrighty.
19 on the dice. I only have a plus.
By the way,
one
if you
on
do
it.
need help with any of them, you can DM me the name of the plane, and I might be able to help.
Okay.
Yes, MTG fanatics will be able to help decipher what we see.
Alright.
Like me, I also understand.
Okay.
At least most
Alright.
things.
In that case, I'll just go on. Yeah. So let me go on ahead and DM.
I'm waiting for a random one to get pulled out, like Chandelar or something.
Like, Xanther is one where, Chandelar could make sense if you squint at it.
Chandelar is also a problem, just because
Oh yeah.
if you planeswalk to Chandelar, because Chandelar is a plane that moves through the planes, like it moves through the blind eternities, it's a mobile plane,
Yep.
meaning that it's hard to fucking planeswalk to, at least on purpose.
I think the fact that he can do that is impressive.
If it's Chandelar.
Alright.
that is.
Okay. So Alright, so basically, Canvas, when you go to look at where Xanther went to, all you see is, like, yes, you can see, like, maybe some buildings and mountains, but rather than, like, just like an ocean, you just see fire and lava.
Is it just wildfire?
Yes, he's from Wildfire.
Hey, you know that one plane the Tumpy planeswalk to that was just all fire everywhere? That's his.
Oh my god.
Like,
What if you...
Oh my god, it's actually just this place. Okay.
yeah, it's Wildfire.
Wildfire is a plane that is exactly what it sounds like.
Like, they just got stranger as she went. Well, no, actually, it was strange. Oh, that's just kind of a normal place. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, from like a brief glance on the Wikipedia, it says like Wildfire, it's a plane of flame and lava. It's home to like a genie, Efreet, and goblins.
And goblins.
Yeah, so, and it's like, yeah, and remember,
See,
he's a genie warlock.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I was thinking it was Jin or Free. So one of my guesses, one of my guesses was in fact Wildfire. Another one was Tarkir.
I think this... again, this is the funniest one.
Yeah, that's where it's like, yeah.
And it's like, of course it's Wildfire. Of course it's Wildfire. I don't even know why I needed a second guess.
Alright.
Chad from Wildfire, it's fine. And then Canvas kind of just goes, huh, and walks back over and pairs back up with Solano.
Yeah, I think MM would ask about them and then just like...
Yeah, they're talking to each other throughout this entire situation, and it's kind of like, I don't think I've been to any of those, and I don't think I really want to go to any of those right now. So
One of them's literally on fire all the time. I don't think I...
yeah,
Do not let Pacifico know that Xanther is from a plane that is literally all fire.
It's like, you want to come meet my parents? Yeah. Fuck.
Alrighty. But
I feel bad for whoever tries to date him and realizes, oh man, where's the parents? Oh, just on the fire plane.
alrighty. So yep. So then with that, yeah, the planeswalkers have planes away. Some people have, left to go on the Magic School Bus, and yeah, everybody else is just kind of starting to make their treks to get back
Getting
to
ready
their
to jump on a ferry or a train. Or...
yeah, all to make their way home. And that will be where we end tonight's session.
Woo!
Yay!
We did it! We completed a fucking year!
Yeah.
1 year down.
Yeah, just about,
Several to go.
Yeah, so technically, school year, technically, yes. The next session, which, need I remind you, possibly 2 weeks from now on a Tuesday. So, yeah, possibly January 21st. Like I said, anybody who is in the Spiffy Needle Geeks Discord, or if you're following me on Blue Sky, I will try to keep you all in the loop if it's going to be January 21st. If it's not, then the next session will be February 8th. The next session, we're going to catch up with everyone and see, all the crazy shenanigans that they're doing for summer, and that will officially end year 1.
I feel like we've gone on way too many accidental tangents in this campaign so far. I would like to apologize.
First of all, the accidental tangents are fine. The only real thing about them is that it's limiting the inclusion of our poor Dave, our poor Savato.
I know, that's where it's like
does not get to start ghost school yet.
Yeah, that's where it's like, speaking of which, I mean, it's like, it's like, seriously, like, Brian, bless his heart for sticking around for literally a year of this campaign, and he's not even fucking in it yet. Like, you've got the patience of a saint, dude. And again, it's like, it's a shame, like, what happened tonight. Like, his internet, his internet just kind of like crapped out. So, but
and we know who to blame. Not Hoopa this time. Fucking Kierum.
Well, good night, everybody.
Night, it's like, fucking Kiram doesn't.
Ravnica on January 25th.
Correct. Yes. So we'll be getting back to that.
Yes.
So hope you.
We didn't say it in the outro yet, so I had to say it.
So hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties on our end, and we will see you all. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Goodbye.